Check 1, 2. There we go. All right.
Higher or lower? Because I bumped it. Lower. That's good. Right there. Right there. I didn't mean to bump it. So everything's smooth. I'm excited. Look good, bro. Look good. Hey. I want to do a practice run. Let's get on phone call. Hey, what's going on, David? How are you? I think we got 3 cameras, text over live. I think we're gonna get this out. I'm trying to pull this up here so I can listen to it, make sure we got audio coming through. Are you connected? Sounds good. My AirPods are connected. Okay. My AirPods were connected. I think so. Let me try it here.
Check 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Hey, 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2. This is just a mic check for the live feed. We got it. Good deal. Yes, we want to do this again. Actually, we need to have you guys over. Are you guys doing anything this weekend? Well, good evening and welcome. One more chance here at a mic check. Mic check 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You still feeling? You still going? I'm going to try this again here. So good evening to all of y'all out there tonight. Cyclone Volleyball coming to you live from the Cyclone Gymnasium here. This is game number 3 game number 4 on this season. Our home match tonight, we're taking on Tremont, the Turks out of Tremont. Tremont always has a fantastic volleyball squad. Girls coming in tonight, 1-2 on the season, both JV and varsity. Dropping a tough one last night up at Woodland. So we're hoping they can rebound tonight, and it's the whiteout night here at Cornerstone, which is lots of people wearing all white clothes because it's a thing, apparently. Except for us. We're not wearing white clothes, are we, Keith? No, normal. It's normal night for us. That's what it is. This one tips off here at about 6 o'clock. We're about 18 minutes away. We'll be back with you here shortly. Have starting lineups and run down kind of a scene setter for you. Fill you in on what's all going to be happening and what to look forward to this evening. Once again, high school volleyball action from Cyclone Gym here in Normal. Taking on Tremont tonight. Looking forward to bringing it to you.
Text over live, so you get the score and everything up here now. So here's what it I just had it. Pull it back up. So that's got the chat on top. We've got Cornerstone Tremont, timeout timer. So we'll have that camera doing serves and catching up-close shots. We got an on-floor camera. It's going to do huddles and check-ins and that kind of stuff and timeouts. And then we got the webcam to do the wide floor shots. So it's all piecemeal together from a bunch of donated equipment. It's kind of fun.
Well, welcome back one more time to Cornerstone Christian Academy. And game number 4 on this season. Both JV varsity squads rolling in at 1-2 on the season, trying to even things out at 500 tonight as we take on the Turks from Tremont. Tremont always has a fantastic volleyball squad. Very well coached. It'll be a lot of fun to see how the girls respond after tonight. Last night was a tough loss up at Woodland, and a late night for a lot of the girls, getting home late, getting homework done, and back at it for 3 nights in a row here, 3rd night in a row that we've got a volleyball game going on. So everybody's tired. Again, we're right at the first the first week of school. It still seems that hard to believe, but first full week of school here, and already got 4 games under our belt. be nice to have the weekend off. But tonight, one more volleyball match for you. JV and varsity coming up here in about 14 minutes, tip-off. And we'll have it here for you live. Go down the JV roster here, starting roster for you. Number 4 is London DeHart, 5 Elizabeth Hennard, 6 Kate Hancock, 8 Aubrey Kinzinger, 10 Carson Witt, 11 Faith Hughes, 12 Eliana Woodman, 13 is Grace Masters, 16 Caitlin Scott, 17 is Maris Largent, 28 Natalie Heil, and 29 Karis Wolf. So just like we did on Tuesday nights, we will have the national anthem and varsity starting lineup coming in between games. I think they will announce starting lineups here for the JV game, I'm assuming. We also have something new here for tonight. We have multiple camera shots. And Garrett, if you're listening, so we've got multiple camera shots here tonight, and so I'll have Garrett run them through right now. This is going to be our full court shot that we've got going on right here. Number 2 is the camera shot that we've got going on. Go ahead and switch up to that camera. That one's going to be zooming in on all the serves and some up-close shots here and there. And then new this year, we've also got the sideline camera. And that sideline camera is going all over the place right now. But that is Mason Dems right now. That is just running all over the place. So that blurry thing is a camera. Go ahead, go back to Mason. There we go. So we've got a sideline camera. We're going to get in the huddles tonight, and we're actually going to hear. Oh, well, we're not going to hear from the coach, but we're going to have to see what's going on inside the huddle and be able to talk about a little bit about what's interacting. So anyway, we're going to give this a shot tonight, see how it goes. You're also seeing down at the bottom of your screen scores, and then the bottom right-hand corner timeout timer. So we're trying a whole bunch of new stuff up our sleeves tonight to bring you the best broadcast possible. It'll be entertaining to see. So we have got about 10 more minutes yet until we get rolling in this one. Again, a 6 o'clock tip-off. I'm so used to basketball. 6 o'clock first serve, I guess is how you say it in volleyball. You'd think after a season and a half I'd know this, but I don't. First serve coming up at 6 o'clock. Looking forward to bringing this one to you this evening. Back with more in a moment. Until then, enjoy the music.
Turn that down just a tad.
It's up on the stage. We don't have it. Well, good evening and welcome one more time to live broadcast tonight of Cornerstone High School volleyball here live from Cornerstone Christian Academy here in Bloomington. Tonight we got two games for you. We've got a JV game, we got a varsity game coming back to back. First one starting here in about 6-7 minutes. That'll be the JV game, followed by the varsity game coming up anywhere between 7 and 7:30. JV team on the season 1 and 2 coming in. Hi, Chad Witt. How are you? And the varsity squad coming in tonight at 1 and 2 as well. It's been a long week for the volleyball girls. This is third night in a row with a game. And last night was a late night coming back from Streeter over a tough loss for both squads up at the hands of Woodland High School. Girls looking to rebound tonight against the Turks from Tremont. And it's been many, many, many years ago, but Tremont has always had a very good volleyball team. They've got a couple of very tall girls down there. So it'll be fun to see how we match up tonight, how we respond from a loss last night, and then as well how the girls play after having 3 games in a row. I know it wears on my daughter, and I would imagine it's wearing on all the girls that are out there. But they've got a couple days off here over the weekend to rest, recover, rejuvenate, and get set for the rest of the season. Well, good evening and welcome once again to Cornerstone Christian Academy. I'm Dan Kinzinger. Be joined here in a few minutes by Mr. Jeremy Masters. He's making his way up here right now. And also as well down here on our video end of things tonight, Garrett and Keith helping us out, as well as Mr. Dems down on the sideline camera. We've actually got 3 camera angles for tonight we're going to be bringing you. We've got the static cam, which is your whole court cam. That'll be the primary shot tonight. Then we've got a shot that we're going to try zooming in on the servers so we can get a little more close-up of who's serving and watching that. And then we've also got a new camera, the sideline cam, and we're going to be trying that one tonight out, just trying stuff out as well. So hopefully this goes better than the scrimmage night. So thus far we've been good for about 35 minutes. So we got all sorts of stuff up here, Jeremy.
It's looking good, looking good. Garrett's all dialed in tonight.
Garrett, we got you tonight. You're all dialed in, right?
That away.
Yep. Yeah, just say yes. Just go with it. Running the switcher. So, Jeremy, did you go up to the game up at Woodland last night?
I did. That was quite the game, both JV and varsity. So JV took them. So it went 2 sets, but the second set, we went into, I think it was 27-25. So JV came on strong at the end. They played a good game first set too. And then varsity came out a little cold on the first set. But the second set, they came out smoking hot. They were actually up by, I think it was 12 points at one time. Yeah, they were within 9 points of winning the game. They were 12 points ahead and cooled off.
Just fell apart there at the last part. Not really fall apart, but.
Well, it wasn't like falling apart. It was just like, okay, what's going on? The other team really started to heat up, and Cornerstone just seemed like they cooled off. They took their eye off the ball just for a second, and that's all you have to do for a good team, to just put the accelerator down and pull ahead.
It's amazing in the game of volleyball how much play the word momentum has in the game. It really is.
There's probably, I was going to say there's no other game like that, but team sports are like that. The momentum, when it shifts, you notice when it shifts, and it makes a big difference.
Yeah. So both squads tonight come in at 1 and 2 on the season, and it's hard to say early in the season, but I think anybody who watches Cornerstone volleyball understands that they've had a couple of tough losses. This is not a sub 500 volleyball squad that's out there.
No.
They've just had a couple of tough matches right up here at the onset.
And they're playing tougher teams this year, and that's what Coach Morin wanted. He wanted them to play good competition, and that's who they've been playing. Leroy's a good team, and so is Woodland. Woodland was an excellent team. I mean, they had some hitters that were hitting very hard, we had Jenny. She was taking some kills that were just screaming at her. She was putting them back up in the air, getting them to the setter, and we're putting them back at them.
Well, I'm watching Tremont warm up out here, and number 8 out in the middle of the court right now. She stands about 8'4", and she hits the ball like a pitcher. I mean, it's just amazing how hard she hits. It'll be fun. It'll be fun to see how the girls respond, and every team is going to have their strengths, and every team has their weaknesses. So you can't let size intimidate you. You can't let the back row intimidate you. There is a weakness out there. We just got to find it.
That's right. That's right. And I think the other key tonight is getting those blockers up in front of, like that number 8. If you put 2 blockers in front of her, it changes her mentality of how she thinks she can handle herself.
And we've got to eliminate the unforced errors.
And that's one thing I did see last night. Our service errors really improved. We didn't have nearly as many as we did the previous game.
Well, that's just like handing the team a free point. And one can say, well, you don't know who's going to get the point in the volley. That's true, but there's nothing like not even having the volley to decide it and just handing the ball over. So you eliminate those, you take that out of it, and we're 2-1 if that was the case. On Tuesday night.
Yep.
So and then just one win and just eliminate one thing can change your stats completely. So it'll be a lot of fun to see how the girls respond tonight. The other thing that I was talking about too earlier was this is night 3 in a row. And again, you're just talking the second week of school. My daughter was exhausted this morning when she got up, and it's tough being gone late 3 nights in a row, and we'll see how that affects anything tonight.
As a fan, I'm exhausted. Well, last night went 3 sets on varsity.
Yeah, I know. My wife didn't get home till 9:15 last night.
And so they're fighting all the way to the end. And it was a close game on the 3rd set. Like I say, they were up by 12, and they hung in there, and they just couldn't quite pull it out at the end.
Well, let's hope on it goes 2-2 our direction tonight. We'll see. Get out of here by 7:45, 8 o'clock wouldn't be too bad of a deal.
That's right.
But even if we had to stay till 8:30, I'd rather come out with a win. So
yeah, if it goes 3, it'll be good. I've heard Tremont is a very good team. And, again, that's what Coach Morin wants. He doesn't want us to be playing teams that are not challenging us. So, Tremont, I look to them. They're going to be challenging us tonight.
So, Tremont, even I can remember back in the day when I was in high school and we played all these area schools, and even post-high school, Tremont has always had a very, very strong volleyball team. That's just kind of been their culture. They're known for tall basketball players. They're known for baseball, and they're known for volleyball. They've had a good football team here and there, but that's not what they're known for.
Yeah, and I would say, judging by their recruiting, it looks like maybe they went over and found Goliath's sister to be their middle hitter.
Ridiculous. It's if you're a volleyball player, you're very envious. You want somebody like that up front for you.
Yeah.
She's gonna wreak some havoc tonight up on the front, just from both blocking and hitting. But again, when you're tall, you've got other weaknesses. You can't get down as fast to get underneath the ball. So everything can play out differently, and we've got the squad this year that can handle all of that. It's just all those pieces coming together in one game and being continuous from start to end.
Yeah, and our girls are learning that. Like Lauren last night, Lauren Unruh, she was going up for some hits, and she would rear back like she was going to hit it, but she saw a blocker there, tipped it over top of them. And the longer the season goes, the more that becomes natural.
And you've got to. I mean, you've got to be able to adjust and getting comfortable in what you do and being confident in what you do give you that ability to then make those last second and those split-second decisions that you normally wouldn't make otherwise.
Absolutely. So it's going to be good. JV and varsity, this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out battle.
This will be a fun night tonight, and we've got what they call whiteout night tonight. So everybody on the stage, the school body will be here for the varsity match and are all wearing white. So it'll be a lot of fun tonight. Just about ready to get this one going. We got all the video guys out here. We've got a semi-full gymnasium, about half full right now. And so our starters out there right now, we've got Lizzie Hennard, Carson Witt, Natalie Heil. Let's see, we've got Grace Masters, Kate Hancock, and
Eliana Woodman.
Eliana Woodman. So I believe that Tremont will serve first. Typically the visiting team does.
I think we had this ref, the one that's up at the net. I think we had her last night.
Kathy Finley, she's fantastic. Yep.
Okay.
So actually last night Kathy was at GCMS PBL.
Oh, she was?
Yeah, I heard all
so
about it before the game.
Okay. I am mistaken. It's somebody that looked like her. It's her twin sister.
Kathy Finley
was in Woodland.
She's got a granddaughter. She babysits in the afternoon, and she moved down here from up north and just enjoying retirement and watching her grandkids.
Fantastic.
I don't know the other guy.
Yeah, I don't recognize him either. We're not giving him any shout-outs.
So he's going to come down here, scores table. Obviously, Lorowitz down there tonight, so things will run much smoother. And, yeah, shouldn't be any question down there now. Checking the libero tracker right now, just going through things.
So last night, I will say that Woodland's student section was pretty good.
Was it crazy?
It wasn't quite as good as Leroy's.
Okay.
Because Leroy, they were dressing up and they were getting loud.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that our student section starts to get the idea and they beef it up a little. I don't see Dave Wolf here tonight.
Dave Wolf was here.
Oh, okay.
He was. He might. There he is. He's right in front of us down here. He'll go over there as the official tonight to monitor the high schoolers during that varsity game, I'm sure. There we go, getting set for game number 1 tonight, JV. Tremont's going to be serving first, and number 21 for the Turks back to serve. Jeff Morin doing some surgery last second here on the net.
And I don't think we have a roster for the visiting team, do we?
We don't yet.
Okay.
He was going to bring it up, and it didn't make it all the way up here. So that is a strike to Dawson.
Well, they're going to be known by numbers tonight.
21 with a nice serve back to the back row. Dug out by Masters. That one just a little bit far to the right-hand side. And the first point of the night heads over to Tremont. Back to serve again. This one dug out nicely by Masters. Over to Heil. Witt just has to tip it across. Does so. Back up to the front row here for Tremont. Far side, back to the back row. Fires. That one's going to go out of bounds, just out of the hands, out of the reach of Eliana Woodman. 2-0 now.
Yeah, that one stayed in. You said it went out of bounds, but she just wasn't able to get to it. Eliana was seeing it going that way. And
we've got this issue about just not coming out on fire, you know?
Yeah.
Woodman digs it out over to Heil, and that one just gets tipped and falls to the ground. And so the girls here kind of out of sync early on. We've seen this in pretty much every game. That first set, just a little bit of a struggle to get going. 3-0 now for Tremont. 21 into the net, side out, and Cyclones here. Opportunity to get something started. So they got the ball now, and Lizzie Hennard back with it to get things started for the Cyclones. Hennard, nice serve to the back row. That one's on the line, and a point to the Cyclones.
Good call by the rep there. It was close, and she made the right call.
If it's close, you got to get it. That's just the rule. Even if it might be a foot out, get it. Or not on that chance back there. Hennard again with it to the back row. Up to the front. This one's going to go over the net, outside of the stick, and out of bounds. And it's all tied up now, 3-3.
Just like that. It doesn't take long.
Hennard with it now, service number 3. Nice serve. Libero digs it out up to the front row. 3 with it. Just tips it. Dug out nicely by Heil. Back to Woodman. Woodman up to the front. Heil just has to get it across, and she does. Back row. Going the wrong way. They've got to get it over. Masters up to Witt. Quick tip over in the middle.
Good look. Good look from Witt. She saw a gaping hole right in the middle of the court, and she took advantage of it.
She's so good at that. It's just such a – you don't know she's going to do it. It's so deceiving.
The other key to that, little back and forth, was Kate did get a hand on that. She got a little bit of a block, and the girl stayed with it.
Back row. That one's going to go long and out of bounds. So tied back up 4-4, side out, back over to Tremont.
And that's the other key that I think we're going to see. As our blockers get more and more aggressive, the other girls have to come up from the back row and fill that as it comes off as a deflection.
That one's going to go out of bounds as well. So trading serves here, and you're exactly right. And we've seen so many times where the other team hits it right to the middle and we're not there. It's because we're stuck back at the back of the court and have not sucked up when our front line has got up to the net.
Yep. But again, that we'll start seeing less and less of that as the season goes on. They're learning.
Kate Hancock now with the opportunity to serve. Subbing into the game, Faith Hughes for Eliana Woodman. Hancock first opportunity here. Nice serve by Kate. This one going backwards. They've got to get it over in 3. They're not going to do it. And a point back to the Cyclones, and it's now 6-4. So Kate Hancock here, service number 2. Another nice serve by Hancock. Back up, they got to get it across. They do. Dug out nicely by Hennard. Up to Witt, over to Masters. Masters fires back row, and a nice hit by Grace. And it was hit deep enough that
I think
probably would have been out of bounds.
I think it was going to go out.
And so she reached her hands up so high that it went off out the back of the court. 7-4, Hancock with it again. Another nice serve. Dug out up into the net, just tipped over and out of bounds. And the Cyclones now on a little bit of a roll here, 8-4.
Now we're feeling the momentum. You can tell the moment, and that's a timeout time.
And you want to do that. Well, you, as a team, that juices you up almost as much as going on a run is when you force the other team to call a timeout.
Yeah. And the other team's calling a timeout to slow your run down.
Right,
So.
exactly. And you'll see in the bottom of our screen now, we also have a timeout timer going on down there.
Wow, we are high tech.
It's fancy tonight. It's something fancy.
Who's running our scoreboard up here? What's your name? Keith.
This is Keith Hahn
Okay, Keith Hahn's running our scoreboard.
up here. So, and then that camera down there, Mason Dems, getting in on the huddle a little bit.
Wow. This is ESPN style coverage right here.
This is different, isn't it? I don't know, it's
liking it.
ESPN, but it's something.
It's as close as we're going to get.
That's true. There's nothing else we're going to do this year. Don't expect anything more.
Hey.
Well, the downside is when you and I go do away games, we're stuck with just the camera.
Yeah,
and giving
enjoy
store
at home
updates.
tonight.
Right, right. This is only done with much assistance from the high school tech squad. So 8-4, Cornerstone up by 4 here, and Kate Hancock back for her 4th straight service. Another nice serve.
And they're having trouble getting Kate's serve back over. That was going to be out.
Hancock up to Hughes. Hughes has to get it across. And here they're going to get set up a little bit. Reach back, fire, out of bounds.
That one is out. Well, I don't know about that.
I had a pretty good view of that
I
one.
did too. Well, you would think she had a pretty good view.
One would think. One would think.
She was looking right down the line.
That's all right.
That's all right. You're going to have some of that.
You're going to have that. Side out back over to Tremont, 8-5. Tremont down by 3 now. Number 3 up to serve. That one's going to serve into the net. And so we'll get our point back right there. So nothing really lost, maybe except a little momentum. And Aubrey Kinzinger now into the game for the Cyclones on a substitution. Natalie Heil in to serve as well. Heil with it. Nice serve. Back
Great
row.
serve.
That one's going the wrong way. Going to have to get it. And they're not going to do it. And a nice serve by Natalie Heil.
Hits it to the back left corner. And that back row player had to back up to get that one, and she couldn't get there quick enough.
We talked about Natalie a few times. When she's on, she's one of the best servers out there.
Yeah, she's got this toss where she gives it some backspin, and then she hits it.
And it's consistency. If she can consistently get it, it's fantastic. But you have a hit like that, and that kind of throws off your confidence, and hopefully it doesn't last all night long. Cornerstone now up by 4, 10-6 the score. Tremont with the ball, back to serve number 6. Great serve, dug out by Kinzinger.
Great
returned.
dig by Kinzinger.
Set up nicely here. Number 10 with it, reaches back, fires back row. Kinzinger with it up in the air. Heil over to Masters. Masters has to get it over. And that's going to be 4 hits.
4.
And a point over to Tremont.
Grace just wasn't quite able to set up like she wanted to there, and she got a little off balance.
You know, it's that front row is always wanting to come forward. And so when that set's just a little bit off, it throws everything off. Dug out nicely by Hennard. Up to Heil now. Heil over to Hughes. Hughes reaches back, fires. Nice hit by Hughes. They got to get it over. They do. Cross court. Brought over, and then 2 girls reaching for it, and it's going to go off arms and out of bounds. Cyclones now up by 2 at 10-8.
Tremont closing the gap now.
Number 6 here. Service number 3 for her. Another nice serve. Brought up nicely by Kinzinger. And nobody there. That one needs to come forward. That one, when it's stopped, has to come forward.
The setter needs to call help on that one, and a back row player needs to come up and get that one.
10-9 now, 1 point lead, up in the row, up to Heil. Heil now, little bit set backwards over to Hughes, but Tremont's going to return this. Back row, Kinzinger up to the front, Heil with it one more time. Witt fires across and out of bounds, and we're all tied back up at 10. Kate Hancock back into the game for the Cyclones.
Get a little bit of a sense that Cornerstone's on their heels just a little bit right now. They got to refocus.
Number 6, 5 in a row now for her. Hancock back up to Heil. Over to Hughes. Hughes in the middle, and a nice block by number 19 for the Turks. Read very nicely by her.
Yeah, so we're feeling the momentum change again.
Yeah, exactly. 11-10 now. Tremont up by 1. Serve back to the front row. Hughes with it. Back to Heil. Over to Witt. Witt turns and fires.
She got a great swing on that one.
Wow.
That one was not coming back.
Carson Witt with just a rocket, and that one had great trajectory. That was perfectly timed by Witt. So Masters now back to serve. Nice serve by Grace. Tremont's got to get it back up and over here. Long ball out of bounds. And the Cyclones now back, should be back up by 1. Yep, 12-11. And Grace Masters here. It's an opportunity to put the Cyclones up by a few. Nice serve by Grace. Dug out nicely by the Turks. Far side, tip to the back row. And just off the outstretched hands of Masters. That one was just a well-placed tip.
Yeah, I think Grace wanted to get some good hands on it. She was only able to give fingertips.
So sign out back over to the Turks. We're all knotted up at 12. Number 10 for Tremont back to serve. And dove over nicely to Hennard. Up to Heil. Back to Hennard. Has to retreat a little bit.
Great cross-court hit.
Wow. She didn't even jump for that one. Just reached back and hit it.
And she hit that one with authority.
Great angle on it and found a spot and put it down. So side out back to the Cyclones, 13-12 now. Faith Hughes back to serve. Hughes with it now, far side. Nice serve by Faith. Has to get over. Going to happen. Back row deep. Hughes up to Heil. Heil setting up Hancock. Hancock turns and fires. And again, that's set just a little bit too far back.
And she got a little tripped up. She wasn't able to get her base before she went up for that one.
And Hughes is going to be coming out of the game here for Eliana Woodman. So Woodman takes her spot back in the back corner, and it's 13-13 with number 22 back to serve for the Turks. Nice serve by her. Dug out nicely by Hennard. Over to Hughes. Has to get over. Hancock does. Back to the back row of Tremont. Up to the front. Just have to tip it over. Back row again. That was deep. Heil. Hancock. Fires back row. Would have been out, but they returned it. Again, back row and out of bounds. You know,
I couldn't see it.
You know,
the students don't like the call.
When you've got to look at each other and then delay for 3 or 4 seconds and then just pick a side,
maybe
it doesn't come across the greatest.
Let's go jump ball on that one.
14-13, Tremont now up by 1. 22 back to serve. Long one out of bounds.
Justice is served.
And the student section starting to starting something.
Getting
I don't
a
know
little
what that
riled, if nothing else.
14-14 side out. Carson Witt now back. Witt, nice serve. Dives right off.
Wow.
And an ace.
That thing dove hard right after it went over the net.
Pretty serve. Carson Witt is a natural athlete, and she is a fantastic volleyball player.
Absolutely.
Another nice serve by Witt. Set up nicely, far side, fired to back row, and that one right at head level. Those are the hardest for the back row to return.
Yeah, and that one, you're in a position you're wondering, do I let it go? But I'm in front of it. This is a rocket coming at my head.
If I get out of the way, there's a good chance it's still going to hit me anyway.
Yeah.
21 back to serve, 15-15 is the score. Dug out nicely by Masters. Up to Heil, has to get over, and a little miscommunication there at the last minute to get that ball over. So point over to Tremont. Tremont now 1 point advantage here in set number 1.
Coach is telling them we got to be talking, girls, got to be talking.
Nice serve, back row. And that one's going to go back over to Tremont. 17-15, Tremont now up by 2. Number 21 back to serve for serve number 3 for her. And that one out the back. And Coach Hampton wants a timeout, and that's what Cyclones are going to get right now. So little bit of a hiccup here in the middle of set number 1 as some nice serves coming to the way of the Cyclones, and it seems to be that back row chest high up play that's really kind of throwing them off here.
I think they've got a little crisis of confidence. The Tremont has a great server right now. She's on a rally in this back row, second guessing their ability to return that serve. They just need to dig in. They know that they can do it. It's just a confidence thing right now.
And I think all season long in all 3 games, you know, they have learned that gap in the middle has kind of been a weak spot for them, so that back row has cheated up enough.
Yeah.
Now Tremont's hitting that ball deep, and so there's got to be a happy medium in between there, you know?
And I'm sure that's what Coach is talking to them about right now.
So we've got this is a coaching shot in there right now of the huddle.
I like it.
Kind of fun, kind of different.
And the student section getting into it.
All right, we're going to see if we can rally out of this one. 18-15, Cyclones down by 3. Tremont serving here in set number 1. Number 21 for Tremont has rattled off 3 nice ones here. Another great serve, and that one by Woodman off her left hand and out of bounds. And Faith Hughes is going to come in for Eliana Woodman.
So do our camera men have – they're hearing what we're saying? So they're
not hearing what we're saying. Oh. That's one of the weaknesses, but they're talking amongst themselves.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know quite how this is going to work, but at least you're seeing the game, you know? It might not match up with the commentary, but at least you're seeing the game.
Yeah.
And that one's going to be a side out over to the Cyclones. And the Cyclones now down by 3. 19-16 is the score. And Lizzie Hennard back to serve. Hennard, nice serve to the back row. A little bit of confusion. This one's going to over the net. Just a beautiful tip by Kate Hancock.
She got good and aggressive, and that's what needed to happen on that ball because that ball was up for grabs.
Yep, that one was coming down right in the middle of the net. And Kate just instinctively reached up and tapped it over. So point to the Cyclones, cut that lead back to 2. Hennard with it. Back row, fires. Back corner, set up. And they're going to say that was a 2-hit. So did not hit both hands at the same time. Kind of a double push. So Cyclones got a point right there. Now down by 1. Hennard with it again. Going out to the same girl. She's targeting her right now.
Yeah.
And we're back tied up at 19.
And Hennard can go on a rally here. She's got a great serve, and they're struggling with it right now. So she could take us up a few points here.
So number 19 did sub out for the Turks. We'll see where Lizzie goes now. She's going back. Same corner.
Same one.
That one's going up and out of bounds.
She's dialed in.
Yeah. She's picked her poison, and that's where she's going with it. Another substitution coming back in.
This is probably going to the back right corner.
Yep, it is. 2019, Cyclones now up by 1. We'll see where Hennard goes this time. I'm watching her eyes. Same spot. Nope, back row. Nobody wanted it. And an ace for Lizzie.
And we definitely have turned the momentum, and Tremont calls a timeout.
Tremont calls their timeout. So the Cyclones, 5-point rally there led by Lizzie Hennard. And Hennard has done a fantastic job. Get the Cyclones back into this one. And 4 points away from a set 1 victory. So that you're watching right now is the student section up on the stage. Tonight is let's say, okay, Keith,
whiteout.
Explain what whiteout is.
I guess it's a Cornerstone color, and they're all wearing white for their team.
That makes all the sense in the world, and I was hoping for something deeper than that.
Something a little more philosophical.
I would have expected more of a green since that's their jerseys, but...
Well, whiteout is a word. I don't know. Green out, yeah, I don't know. It's just not a thing, I don't think.
So whiteout is a whiteout condition in the winter. Where
That's right. You're blinded.
You're blinded by our fury of volleyball something.
21-19, Lizzie Hennard.
She's blinding them
She's
with her
blinding
serve.
them. Yeah, no kidding. See if she's got another one in her. Back row.
Great serve.
Right
That's a double.
That's a double hit. Fired back row. Dug out nicely by Hughes. Up to Witt. Over far side. Masters. Up in the air with it. Beautiful save. Nice play by Masters to save that one. Number 3 with it. Tipped up in the air. Witt over to Hancock. Hancock reaches. Back row. Dug out nicely by the libero. Set up. Far set. Reaches across the net. Not going to get it. And a great volley there by both squads.
Yeah.
Cyclones come out on top.
That was a good volley. Good reaction from Grace on that. She hit it a little low, but the other team must have got a hand on it, and she recovered it.
Hennard with it. Back row again. Tremont can play it. They do get it over. Hennard with it. Up to Witt. Loading up. Back row over to Heil. Heil fires to the back. Dug out nicely. Here we come. Set.
That's
kill.
going
Out of
out.
bounds. And that was a laser beam, but it was flat straight over to the wall. Cyclones now up by 4 and 2 points away from the first victory here. Hennard with it. Again to the back row. Set up nicely. Far side. Number 18 just tries a nice tip. And both blockers went up, and she saw it.
She did.
And just kind of held back for a second and tipped it over their hands.
Smart play from Tremont there. She was able to tip it over those blockers, and our back row has to come and collapse on that and be able to recover.
So side out over to Tremont now. Tremont back within 3. 23-20. Cyclones lead here in set number 1 of the JV game. Number 12 back to serve for Tremont. Fires. Back row. Masters off her backhand, and that one's going to go out of bounds. And a point to the Turks.
Yeah, if I was coach at this point, I would have that back row back up a little bit.
23-21. Masters with it. Dug, and that was a beautiful serve. Hard save and into the net.
And as soon as I say that, they hit one short.
Yeah, no kidding. Timeout for the Cyclones here. Tremont's cut that lead back to 1, 23-22. So coach is in there, and what's coach talking to about right now?
I think coach is telling them, hey, come on, you guys got this. And I think they pulled Grace aside right now, and they're just saying, hey, you can do this. I think Grace has got herself psyched out just a little bit. She just needs to get her head back in the game.
Moment of confidence boost. She's one of the better players out there, and we all have that moment where we just kind of, okay, take a breath and step forward again.
Yep.
So Cyclones now going to come out up by 1. They need a side out and a point. Number 12 for Tremont back to serve. So in the game right now, you got Witt, Hancock, Heil, Hughes, Hennard, and Masters.
And we need a side out here.
Served by Tremont. This one back up. And just off her hands and out of bounds.
Couldn't quite make up her mind.
Yeah, it's at that head level, and you're at that decision-making position. Do you try to set it up, or do you hit it? Served by over to Hancock, and that was we weren't ready for that one.
No.
She had done 5 serves straight to this back row position, and then she serves it cross court, and now Tremont 1 point away from a victory here in set 1. Nice serve. Hennard, Witt, far side, Masters, kill out of bounds. And the Cyclones are going to drop set number 1 here, 25-23. Well played by both squads, and there wasn't the errors that we have seen in nights past that have just kind of hamstrung us. This was just a matter of great serving by both squads, and just some of those small fundamental errors that we see all season long. And unfortunately, Cyclones here in the first set came out at the bottom of that one.
Yeah, just the serve receive is what we're struggling on right now. And I think it's a crisis of confidence. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lineup switch up here just to give some girls a chance to cool off a little bit, think about it, and then get back, re-engage.
So we got a couple minutes here before we start set number 2. And we've got 2 games coming for you tonight. This is the first of 2 games. And we're getting ready to move to set number 2. We're going to see if we can make this a 3-set night for the JV match.
I'm predicting 3 sets on the JV.
Yeah, I think the Cyclones, will come out here storming in set number 2, and might even catch Tremont off guard here and might put a walloping on them here in the second. They're definitely capable of it.
Overall,
Definitely capable.
I feel that Cornerstone is the better team, and they just weren't playing to their capability on that one.
Yeah, the one thing that I've seen, and it's kind of been a theme that I've been watching, is when the ball comes up, the sets, while they're good, the sets, our hitters are charging forward to hit. And I've seen it several times where the sets come up and the hitters have to stop and then reach back instead of continuing their momentum forward to be able to hit those balls down. And that kind of takes that fire, out of the hit. And it happens quite a bit in those sets. Instead of going straight up in the air, they kind of aim backwards just a little bit. Yeah. So it's just, again, just small fine-tuning things that I know Coach has been working with them on and continues to work with them on. And then also back in, like you said, the serve-receive. We've struggled with that all season long. Tonight, obviously, struggle with it here in set number 1. But, we didn't have the gap in the middle like we've been struck with here in the first few games. So, there's got to be a happy balance in between both of those, and I know Coach is going to make those adjustments as well.
Yeah, the girls just need to get into a rhythm. So it's not just serve receive, but that pass has to get to the setter in a place where she feels comfortable and she can set it nicely to those hitters. And so it's a rhythm. They got to get into that rhythm.
So we're getting set here for set number 2, and out there to start, we've got Wolf. So Karis Wolf checking into the game for the first time. Lizzie Hennard, Eliana Woodman, Carson Witt, Faith Hughes, and we need one more, guys. That's only 5. That's only 5. We need one more player. Coach, we need one more. One more.
One more player.
One more player. One more player. One more player. There's only 5 out there.
And I think the ref's starting to tell her now.
Yeah,
you want to play with 5?
Yeah, who else is going? Who wants to go in? Just pick one. Anybody raise your hand. There's Natalie. She was in the bathroom.
Okay, that explains
Okay,
it.
all right.
We're getting all excited.
All right, didn't know quite what was going on there.
So we did switch the lineup a little bit, and I'm not surprised to see that. So sometimes that's what you need to do.
Yep. Nice serve there by Carson.
Good start from Carson. Great serve.
And Carson can be that catalyst that this team needs just to get on a little bit of run here.
Absolutely. She is a natural leader, natural athlete.
Nice serve again by Witt. Back row, dug up to the net by Tremont. They just got to tip it over a block, and, the little bit there of, I think that was 3 hits, actually.
Little patty cake with the ball, I think. I think Karis is going, okay, next time just let it drop and then hit it out.
Served by Tremont. Back row over to Hughes. Witt now. Upside to Karis Wolf. Karis hits it. And that one just, again, mistimed it. Hit it on the way up from the jump. And that's how it sails. Backing out.
Yeah, need to get on top of that ball, and she knows it.
2-1. Tremont up now. Tremont with the serve. Dug out nicely by Hughes. Up to the net. And that one was tight against the net. And easily blocked down by the Turks. And they're going to say she was in the net.
Oh, wow. Dodged a bullet on that one.
So a point over to the Cyclones now to tie it up at 2-2. And Lizzie Hennard now up with it. Hennard fires to the middle. Dug out nicely by the Turks. Set up to the middle. Nice hit down. And what are they going to?
They called something on. Who'd they call it on? I thought they called it on Tremont.
It was on Karis Wolf.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if she was over the line or into the net or something there. But regardless, a point and a side out over to Tremont. Served back row. Hughes with it. Had to reach up off her hands. And if you got to reach up that high and you're in the back row, you just got to let it go.
Yeah.
4-2 now.
You're going to have to get that back row dialed in on that because Tremont knows that's where they need to hit it.
And that's what they're doing every time. Right there, back row, Hughes with it. Woodman, they have to go over with it. Wolf now does get it over. Up in the air. This one's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Tipped over middle, dug out nicely. Witt with it. Far side to Woodman. Woodman reaches back, lobs one back to the back corner. Nobody there, but somebody pushes somebody else out of the way to get it. Woodman over to Witt. Backside, Heil fires across to the middle. Dug out nicely by the Turks. Brought out back to the back row. Hughes with it, up to Witt. Far side here to Woodman. Has to reach back, and what a hit by Eliana Woodman.
She was way outside just because of the set was out there, and she accommodated that.
She made that happen because off balance, going the wrong way and out of bounds, and a great hit by Eliana Woodman. Karis Wolf now back to serve for the Cyclones. This one up at the net, set to the far side. Number 10 reaches and fires, and I'm not sure quite what Karis was. She raised her hands up like she didn't want to touch it, but it had already been touched.
I think she thought it went off the net and was going to go out of bounds.
Gotcha.
But we actually got hands on it, and I don't think she really realized that we had blocked it partially.
And Kinzinger into the game now for Wolf. Number 12, the libero, back to serve. Dug out nicely by Hennard. Far side, Heil. Heil reaches back, puts it back to the middle. Dug out nicely by the Turks. They've got to get it across. They do. Kinzinger up to the front. Back to Witt. Over to Woodman, Faith Hughes, who just hits it into the net, and just not enough velocity on that one.
Yeah, her approach was mixed up, just slowed up just a bit, and that caused her to hit it in the net.
6-3, Tremont up. 12 back to serve, into the net. Side out, and a point to the Cyclones. Yep.
That 12 is a great server, so if she hits it into the net, we're dodging a bullet, because she kept hitting them to the back row, and she went about 5 or 6 straight points.
2-point Tremont advantage. Heil back to serve.
That's
and a beautiful serve by Natalie Heil, and another ace. And she did that in set number 1. We'll see if she can lock in and get another one down here.
Let's string a few of those together.
Heil back with it. Fires across. This one's going to go out of bounds. And again, it's just consistency with Natalie. She's fantastic. And then just throws the ball up wrong, and it goes awry. So, again, some adjustments, small adjustments, just the small minor ones right now. 7-5, 2-point Tremont advantage. Number 6 back to serve. Back row, Kinzinger with it. Nice save up to Heil. Over to Witt. Witt's got to just tap it over. Tremont now with it. Nice setup, far side to number 10. 10 reaches back into the net, but it's saved over. Nicely tipped by Faith Hughes. Back to Tremont. Tremont loads, fires again. Kinzinger up to the net. Heil with it. Now Faith Hughes has to get it up. And they're going to say too many touches.
4 hits.
Okay, all right. 4 hits, and so.
It was a race for that ball while it was still above the net. And once it went below, it was going to be tough to get.
8-5, Hennard up to Heil. Heil over to Witt. Witt fires. She is locked in tonight. We got to get her the ball. Back row, and Heil dives for it. This one goes out of bounds, and it's now a 4-point advantage for the Cyclones. So Maris Largent now coming in for Natalie Heil.
This is Maris's first play time, so she was out. She had to get her select number of practices in before she could come in. So welcome Maris.
Back row, Hennard. Maris now with it. Up in the air. This one's going to go over the net and out of bounds, and Carson had to step across the line to get it, so it's going to be a point over to Tremont, who's now got their biggest lead of the night at 5. Number 6 now, back to serve. We need to rotate her out. Nice serve. Dug out by Woodman. Largent now with it. Back to Hughes. Hughes fires to the back row. Returned here by Tremont. They do get it over, out of bounds, and a side out. And the point over to the Cyclones.
Cornerstone's chance to get something going here with a side out.
So Grace Masters is going to come in to serve here for the Cyclones. And let's see if Grace can't rally some up together. 21 is who was back there when she was serving last time and did so well. We'll see if she can do it again. Back corner. That's who she goes
where she
to.
hit it to.
Up to 6. Far side, tipped over. Masters, this one up into the net. Saved nicely. They got to get it over. And it's not going to happen. And a side out back over to Tremont. She served it right to, she knew. She knew.
Where she needed to.
Yep. Number 10 now back to serve for the Turks. And that one goes to the back row. Up with it, playable, has to go over. Kinzinger does get it over.
Nice hit from
and
Kinzinger
a nice
from
save.
the back row.
Great job by Aubrey Kinzinger just to get that one over, and a point, side out. And the Cyclones back into it here, 11-7.
That's a
Wolf
tough
comes
hit.
in. for Kinzinger. Yeah.
Very good. That's a tough hit from the back row. And she pulled it off. That was a great hit.
Hughes now backside, back row, up to the front, number 6, far side 7. This one's going to be at the net, and a great job.
Karras
Great
and
job
Witt
by
go
Karras. And the last time Karras did that, I saw Coach down here, and he said, get that hand and tip it down. And that's exactly what she did that time. 11-8, Cyclones now down by 3. Hughes back to serve, back far side. Now up. Again, just tipped over another great block. And beautifully timed by Karras Wolf.
And she's
getting up. Yep.
And that she is going to be dominating. If she can just learn to keep doing that,
yep.
She's going to dominate that net.
And if you can get fired up and free like that, watch out.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Now we're having fun.
You're in the camera.
And again,
beautiful.
Karras Wolf puts it down.
Wow. And she's going crazy out there.
And she's
the girls, this is they're enjoying it. That's what you got to do.
And
you got to enjoy it.
Tremont says, we need a timeout.
Calm her down a little bit.
That's right.
Calm her down a little bit. She looks like she's going to hurt us. 11-10 and a run here led by Karras Wolf.
3 in a row
Yeah.
she puts down at the net.
Well done. Well done. So Cyclones here in set number 2 still trail by 1 point. They need to pull this set out in order to reach a set number 3. So the energy definitely right now over with the Cyclones. And Tremont, you can tell from their body language over in the circle right now, they're just
what just happened to us?
Really? Yeah.
Something at the net is not letting the ball go over.
Right. All right, so back out here on the court for the Cyclones. You've got Wolf, Witt, Largent, Masters, Hughes, and Hennard.
So look out. We got Karras Wolf fired up,
Yep.
and she is at the net.
So Faith Hughes here. See if she can keep this string together. Down by 1. Great serve by Hughes. Back row going the wrong way for Tremont. They got to get it over. They do. Dug out nicely by Witt. Largent. Masters has to get it over. She does. Great save by the Cyclones. Near side. Fired across. Dug out nicely by Witt. Wolf with it. Turns and fires.
She gets up.
Wow.
She's
And
on
Karras
fire.
Wolf.
Karras Wolf.
That was across her body. She had to turn to get that one down.
And she was up over the net. That's adrenaline right there. She is just going up. On every ball that's coming over the net, she's going up after it.
Yep. She's locked in right now. Hughes back. Game tied at 11. Hughes, serve. Man, she's right on that line.
Same
isn't
spot,
she? Yep.
yeah.
Fired. Back row. Hughes with it. Back up front. Witt. Far side over to Hennard. Just tips it over. Dug out nicely by Tremont. They've got to get it over. They do. Fired it into the net, though. And the Cyclones back up by 1.
And we need this energy to stay on the green side here. If we can get Karras Wolf another block, this thing's going to take off and open wide open.
The roof's going to come off this place. Hughes with it. Back far side. Nice set. Nice serve. Nice serve by Faith Hughes. Nobody up there.
Faith is a very consistent server, so we got the right person back there right now.
2-point Cyclone advantage in set number 2. Hughes back again with it. That one on the line. Point to the Cyclones.
Look at that. It was close. I didn't even know how
I
to
figure
call
if I
that
say
one.
it loud enough when it's quiet, that might influence something a little bit there. 14-11 now.
The rally continues.
Hughes with it. Nice serve. Back to the back row. Return nicely here by Tremont. Close quarters. Tipped at the back row. Largent. Back to Hughes. Has to go across. Wolf with it. Does get it back. Tremont setting up something here. Turns. Fires. Middle. Nice save by Masters. Over to Witt. Largent with it. Into the net, though. And a side out quickly back over to Tremont. But a great job there by all the girls involved.
Now we need a good serve receive. They need to dig in and really focus on the serve receive.
Fires back to the middle. Nice dig by Hennard. Largent back row. Masters fires across with it. Set up nicely. Close quarters there. Has to tip it over. They do. Masters. Largent far and out of bounds. And Substitution now into the game. Heil coming in for Largent. And it was great to see her for the first time this season.
Yeah, I'm glad she was able to get in.
14-13, Cyclones up by 1. Back row, Hughes, and that one just lost concentration there for a second.
Yeah, we don't want to get back on this train,
Yep.
so we got to dig in, get a side out.
Yep, dig it in, get it up to Witt or Heil. That's what you got to do right now, back row. Back row, Masters. There you go,
Good
up to
pass.
Heil. Tips it over. Returned nicely, read nicely by Tremont. This one fired back to the middle. Again, up by Hughes, over to Wolf. And that one was just a little too far over the net. And, yeah, coach stand up and said, hey, that one's far over the net. Get up to block, not to hit.
Yeah.
And a point back over to Tremont. So Tremont now up by 1 at 15-14. 19 back to serve. That one just grazes the top of the net. Wolf has to get it back in play.
Great
Witt,
job getting it
nice
back.
save. Tremont loading up. Back to the middle, though. Just tap back to the middle. Masters with it. Up to Heil. Over the far side to Hennard. Hennard does get it over. Not pretty right now, but it's working. Fired across. Out of bounds. That one's going to be inbounds. Right on the line, and a good call there.
Yeah, you tried. You
Yep.
tried.
I couldn't even. That was on the line. I saw it. I couldn't even say anything else. 16-14, 2-point Turk advantage here. 19 has a hard serve. Masters with it up to the net, and Heil just mistimed that jump. And again, they're serving hard. She's a hard server, and that one great to get it up to the front, but it was just about a foot too short. And if you think at all this is easy, it's not.
No. You have to time that perfectly.
You do. Back row, this one's going out of bounds, and we got a substitution in the game now. Timeout called by the Cyclones, who all of a sudden in the middle of this one as well have fallen back by 4. 18-14 Tremont lead.
So coach is going to want to dial in on this serve receive. That's what's killing us in the first game and in this game now. We've let Tremont get back into it because we can't. And they're serving hard.
Yes, they're serving incredibly hard. And, but in the same sense, you've got to be able to – you're going to meet these teams all season long. They're going to have the 1, 2, 3 servers that serve the ball as hard as hitters do. And
coach is showing
he's
right
down there
now,
right now how to do it.
Get your base, get the fundamentals down. You guys know how to do this. Just execute it.
Yep.
They're a little bit shook right now, and they're wondering, hey, can we really do this?
Student section is going to try to help them out here a little bit. Cyclones down by 4, set number 2. They're already down 1-0. So Eliana Woodman now into the game for Grace Masters. Grace getting a breather here. Number 19, we need to get her out of the game, so get her rotated out.
Yep.
Tremont, serve into the net. That's the way to do it right there.
We'll take it.
Service errors will kill you. So let's see if the Cyclones can't make something of it.
Yeah.
18-15 here.
Carson Witt coming up. That's what we need.
Carson Witt, my defunct captain of this team. Nice serve, just a consistent serve by her. 12, back row, out of bounds. And a point to the Cyclones. Now back within 2. She's so consistent.
Yes, she is.
Witt with it now. Again, right to the middle. It dives off so nicely at the end. Turks have to get it across. They do, and they put it where no one else is.
That was a great dig. That's just a great defensive series by the Turks. They were able to take that serve. That was a great serve from Carson, and that was a great dig.
It was. It was a great dig. And then a nice play just to put it where nobody else is. 21. This is who killed us at the end of last set. Up to Witt. This one's got to go over. Woodman does get it over in play. Up to the front row. Near side. Just tipped over. Blocked. Dug out nicely. Somebody's got to get it over. And, wow, they are going to do it. Look at Karis Wolf. Tipped up. Going for the block. Back row. Out of bounds. Point over to the Cyclones.
Okay, we can breathe a little easier.
19-17. Karis Wolf, have a game, would ya? Carson Witt, back row. Played by the Turks. Up to the libero, who reaches back, fires. Dug out nicely by Woodman. Up to Witt, who just missed the hole. That's what she does, and she does it so well.
That was the best I've ever seen her do that, too.
She was looking like she was setting.
It was so quick.
I mean, her eyes were up in the air, and then last minute just turns
And it
throws
barely
it down.
cleared the net, and they just couldn't collapse on it. That was a great little tip.
Cyclones back within one here. 18-19, down by one. And a question here on the side. Going to talk it over with the officials. Actually, I think that's Laura Witt talking about her salad that she'd like later on here between games.
She says, I'm hungry. What am I going to eat?
We all are. I mean, let's all face it. We haven't had dinner yet. And Morin's over there. No. You're not having Italian dressing. It's ranch only tonight. Laura's like, no, I really want the Italian. No, the official says it's got to be Thousand Island. And then you got Coach Hampton back there. She's a blue cheese lover. So, I mean, this is just a big discussion right now as to exactly what's going on. I think they're talking rotation, and that's the way they're looking at right now is that were the Cornerstone girls, the way it looks, in the right position.
Well, if anybody can talk the ref into it, it'll be Laura Witt.
Yeah. But the fact that they're over here looking at our girls means that it might be our fault.
Yeah.
So we will see here how this is going to play out.
See if she can patch it up here. We don't want to ruin our mojo back here with Carson Witt serving.
We're still going to get it. So we're going to see if there's any questions. The other coach comes over to the table here to discuss just a little bit. So the opposing coach, Tremont, up at the desk right now, looking at Laura Witt's scorebook with the official.
Now we have Chad Witt wanting to come in and chime in on this. And he's animated about it. He's not just talking.
This is, I think he wanted to make sure that the coaches were seeing it correctly what happened. So this is interesting because you've got a parent down on the floor. It is Chad Witt. So it's not just any parent, it's Chad Witt. Over there with Morin. I think Morin was just clarifying something that happened on the court. And all coaches now are at the table. This is a very complicated salad order. And again, I think it went back to serve rotation, but to what extent I'm not quite for sure here. But this is again one of those times where you hate this to happen because whatever momentum you had kind of, all right, everybody's kind of breathed it out now. I know you got the student section over there trying to keep them all up and keep them all active and involved. So Lizzie Hennard is going back.
So they're going to have to give a point to the Turks on that one.
Yep, it was a rotation error. And so a point is going over to the Turks. One comes off of the Cyclone side. So instead of a 1-point game, it becomes a 3-point game, and the Turks have the ball.
Turn of events here.
Yeah. Talk about a momentum shift right there. So the girls have to dig here again. So the rotation that a volleyball team does is something that I yet fully don't understand. And how this works and why this can be so complicated and take 5 minutes is something I don't understand.
And I'm not the one to figure it out either. I keep telling myself I need to figure that out, but I just never take the time to.
All right, so regardless, Tremont is going to have the ball right now and a 3-point lead. Cyclones have to dig deep. They're down 1-0. Fired back row, up in the air to Hughes. Over to Woodman, has to go across. Wolf with it now, does get it there. Tremont setting something up. Far side, reaches, fires, dugout, great.
Great save
by
by
Hennard.
Lizzie Hennard.
And they're going to say she crossed the line. Or hit it with a fist.
Well, they're giving us a point. So
They're giving us a point. So the other team did something that we got the point for.
I almost wonder if they went into the net or went under the net.
I'm losing it here in this game. Last 5 minutes have been confusing. Regardless, we've got a point. Karis Wolf now back to serve. I don't know what happened to Carson, though.
Well, And it looked like Lizzie Hennard wanted
was
to
in
serve
between.
next.
Yeah, I don't quite understand this. So, well, there she goes. Hennard's going back to serve.
And now Coach Morin's back in here talking to the ref. So who knows
And
what's going to
Wolf's
happen.
coming back up to the front row. And Hughes back. I don't. Hey, guys, we're playing a volleyball game tonight, and we're down by 2. That's all I know.
That's right.
We have got to rally off 7 points here.
Hey, we've got 23 viewers right now. I think that's a record for this season so far.
That's a record cumulative.
We haven't scared everybody away yet.
Hennard with it. Fires to the back row. Played here by the Turks. They do get it over, reaching deep. Hughes back up to Witt. Witt just sets it up. Wolf with it. Tip. Played by the Turks. Reached over. Fired. Back row. Nice dig by Hughes. And they're going to say she was in the net. What?
Oh, yeah, they called her in the net. Who'd they call in the net?
I don't.
Wolf?
It was, I think
20
it was
something.
Karras. All right. So I must be losing it. Into the net and a point back over to us. So we're the bottom line at the end of this all right now. We're down by 2. We've got the ball. Karras Wolf back to serve. Here we go. 21-19. Let's get this back to something we can actually understand. Right. A nice serve to the back row for the Turks. They play it. Going to be up in the net. Tipped over nicely. Witt with it. Set over to Wolf. Wolf up to Woodman. Woodman tries to get it over and fires right into the net. And you're going to see Masters jump right off the bench and come right back in here. Aubrey Kinzinger coming in for Karras Wolf as well. So Kinzinger plays primarily the back row, and Wolf was back there. So, again, strengths and weaknesses for every girl. So Wolf has had a fantastic second set here tonight. Number 6, back to serve. Deep out in, and that one's going to go out of bounds. And a great eye by Grace Masters to say, you know what, I'm not going to be fooled by this anymore.
Yeah, she took a look at it, and she had to think just for a second, okay, what am I going to do with this ball?
Cyclones down by 2, 22-20. Natalie Heil back to serve. Heil with it. Fires deep. That was an ace!
Ace!
And the Turks calling a timeout to boot.
Yeah, that can change the momentum when you start to do something like that.
And Natalie Heil, again, can be one of the best servers out there on the court. She's right up there when she's on.
Well, and this timeout actually may help Natalie.
Yeah, and get her mind off that second one where she's had struggles with this evening. And you see Karras Wolf up there just going crazy.
And Coach takes Natalie from the huddle and gives her a little pep talk on her own.
Well, he knows. He knows. Just you go over, you think about the next serve, and just focus on that. That's it. So on the court right now, you've got Witt, Hennard, Hughes, Masters, Heil, and Kinzinger. 22-21. Cyclones need to win this set. Natalie Heil will be quiet here. There you go, Natalie. Back to the back row. Far side, 21 reaches, fires, and a nice block attempt by Hughes and Witt. But this one falls on this side of the net, so a side out over to the Turks. So number 10 is going to have an opportunity here. Cyclones down by 2. They've got to win this set. They need a side out. Dug out by Kinzinger. That one's too hard and out of bounds. And they've got match point now.
Cornerstone needs to dig in here.
Serve again, up in the air. Kinzinger over to Heil. Masters has to get it over. She does. Up in the air now. Tremont doesn't want to mess up. Fires, blocked. That one's up in the air and down. And the block attempt goes awry. And the Cyclones fall here in set number 2.
25-21. And again, SS serve receive is what Coach is going to want to work on.
And a hard-fought set, a hard-fought game by the girls tonight. And that was way more of a solid game than we saw on Tuesday night from the, at Unihigh over in Champaign. There's been drastic improvement, and the girls played. They played well. It was just a few small things. The back row thing really hurt them tonight. But just like we talked about, it's the small things now that they've got to focus in on. They've got the fundamentals down. They know how to dig the ball out of the ground. They know how to set it properly. But it's now down to, instead of a game of feet, it's a game of inches.
Yeah, so we're seeing different strengths from them on different games here. Like Karis Wolf came alive tonight. If we could keep Karis up at the net, keep Witt up there with her.
Yeah.
We also need to see Witt and Kate Hancock match up again. We saw that in the first game. They started to gel together. And then now we didn't really see Kate in this second set at all.
No, we didn't see Kate in here, and I think Coach does that on purpose because Kate's going to play a majority of that varsity game. Yeah. And when you've got Karis Wolf on fire like she is back last year, Karis was Kate's substitution. And when Karis was playing, Kate was sitting because she was playing incredibly, incredibly well.
Yeah.
You have not seen Karis a lot this game, but I think that's because it takes moments like that to get Karis into the game, and you saw that, her personality got involved in it, her emotions got involved in it, and they took over.
Yeah.
But it takes a little bit for her to get there.
If they could get clicking on all cylinders, they're going to be a great team, but they're just showing like sparks.
Yep.
They're showing different strengths with each game. We just got to get them all put together.
Yep, absolutely. And Coach, you're right. Coach wanted to play a little bit stiffer competition this year, and they're doing it, and it's showing. But in the long run, this is what they need to improve.
Another bright spot that we saw, we didn't see near as many service errors on both of those sets, so that's definitely an improvement as well.
So the JV team falls again tonight, and they drop to 1-3 on the season in 2 straight sets to a very good Tremont Turk team. And coming up now, we have got the varsity squad. Coming up here in a few minutes, Jerry Masters, Dan Kinzinger, we've got this one for you coming up in a few. We're going to take a quick water break, and we'll be back with you shortly. Hi, Danielle Gary. You've just become our sponsor for the night. That conversation between Laura Witt and myself. I apologize for that, Danielle Gary, but thank you for pointing it out, and congratulations on now becoming the sponsor of the game. People, they'll learn not to text.
I've got their starters, and Laura's getting our starters right now.
Well, good evening, and thanks for tuning in here to game number 2. We've got this one coming up here in about 8 minutes or so. We'll have the varsity match of the evening between Cornerstone Christian Academy and Tremont, the Turks. They pulled out a victory in the JV game in 2 straight sets, but it was a well-fought match by the Cyclones, and the Cyclones are getting there. That's, you know, I watched these girls all last season, and this freshman class that's coming in is a very talented freshman class. The one thing about JV squads, and I'm not saying this is the case with Tremont, but the one thing about JV squads is JV squads can contain players up through junior year. And if they get special exemption from the IHSA, they can even have a senior, but there are special cases where that's allowed. But, you know, you've got girls that have been playing at the JV level for potentially up to 3 years. On the other side, so you've got a very freshman-heavy JV group, and it's a big learning curve from JV volleyball to from 8th grade volleyball to JV volleyball. So, kudos off to the girls for Tremont. They played fantastic tonight. A very good team. They're known for it. Coach wanted to play better teams this year. He's getting his wish, but the Cyclone girls as well, so showing glimpses of greatness. And some girls are really starting to make a name for themselves out there, and really enjoyable to watch these guys play. Let me run down really quickly the varsity roster, and it is making its way back up to me. First off, for the Turks from Tremont, this is their full roster. You got number 2, Jada Rumbold, number 4, Bella Porritt, number 5, Mac Fleeterer, number 8, Anna Parn, number 9, Anna Porritt, number 10, Emma Schweigert. Number 11, Maya Fletterer. Number 13, Shane Andrews. 20, Whitney Rumbold. 21, Lily Klaus. 23, Maddie Jones. Number 24 is Tegan Ely. And number 30 is Ashlyn Reisinger. My good friend Laura Witt down there getting the the varsity roster set with starters and all that. We're going to have the national anthem, starting lineups, and all that jazz coming your way here in just a couple of minutes. So once again, good evening and welcome. Dan Kinzinger alongside Jeremy Masters. Happy to be bringing this one to you tonight. And we've got a varsity team that comes into the year 1-2. And coming off a hard loss last night at Woodland up in Streeter. And if you're just joining us, third night in a row of games for the girls. The girls are tired. The girls are wore down. And, these, again, just adapting to high school. It's a big change for these freshman girls. We've got first year of high school for a lot of these girls. You've got the, first week and a half of school. And 3 games in a row to boot. I mean, it's a tall order here for anyone. Taller for guys that have to come and do this. It's a long week. It is. But
yeah, we've had 3 games in a row, and they've all been real close games. So I mean, we've been cheering our hearts out, especially last night. Man, we were going nuts last night, trying to encourage the girls to keep going. And 3 games in a row start to take something out of you.
It does. It does. The hesitations and pauses that I give are because I'm trying to think of the names, and I know all the names, but it's been late nights. I mean, let's be honest. I'm used to going to bed about 9:30, and the last few nights it's been 10:30, 11 o'clock before I get to bed. So anyway, all that to say, don't hold Jeremy or I, hostage for anything that happens tonight. We're old, and we like our sleep.
And you get what you pay for.
That's exactly right. Going to be a crazy night tonight because it is whiteout night here at Cyclone Gym. And so you've got a lot of the upperclassmen are here in white, except for a couple that are in gray, more than likely because they don't have white, because I don't have white. Anyway, they're all up on the stage, and I imagine it's going to get loud here tonight for the girls. We've got about 5 minutes left. Let's run down the full roster here for your Cornerstone Cyclones. Number 4, Alexis Hitteman. Number 5, Anna Hancock. Number 6, Kate Hancock. Number 7, Laura Unruh. 8 is Adrian Gary. 9, Haley Webb. 10, Carson Witt. 28, Olivia Hitteman. 12, Callista Hammer. 13, Grace Masters. 14, Jenny Damarajan. 15, Olivia Smith. And I got that one down, and then I can't even say Olivia right. Gee whiz. 16, Jessica Halverson. And these varsity girls really out there led by, I'm going to say right now, led by three players, and that is Lauren Unruh, Olivia Smith, and Jenny Damarajan. Jenny is kind of the silent weapon out there. She is so solid, so consistent in that back row. And, if she was at JV tonight, it would have been a different outcome because she's the one that all those hard hits that go to the back row, she's digging them out.
She's solid on the back row. She's going to get every serve receive that comes through there. And she gets some of the kills that you're like, how in the world did she get that low to get that ball? And last night was one of those nights. I mean, she was just pulling one out after another. Her and Haley Webb back there have been the dynamic duo when it comes to serve receive, when it comes to just defense in general. They get to balls and kills that you just, like I say, you're scratching your head. How in the world did they get that? They're getting one-handers. They're getting under things that you just don't think that's possible.
And then you've got, coming up to the front row, you've got the outside hitters of the Hancock sisters that both play.
Our sponsor has arrived.
Our sponsor. And it's one of those I got you eyeball sponsors that probably thought she was at home. And maybe if I would have known she was here, I wouldn't have commented like that. Hi, Danielle. But you've got the front row with the Hancock sisters, and both of those are as solid as they come as well.
Absolutely. And they can trade barbs back and forth. So I would love to see Anna on one side as an outside hitter and Kate on the other side and just see how that works.
Right. And then you've got Olivia Hitteman and Jess Halverson, and both of those girls just can play ball as well.
Well, and last night, Jess Halverson had some killer hits. I mean, she was wound up. And so we saw her come on strong last night. Last night was her night.
And Jess, one of her signature plays is when she comes up for this near side and hits cross court back to that back corner.
Yeah. She gets an angle on that ball, and it's nearly impossible for the other team to get a hand on it unless they're expecting it.
Now Tremont over here, if you're watching them warm up, this is a team, this is a school that is known for volleyball.
Yeah.
And this is a group of girls that all of them out there, they're all 6 foot. There are some tall girls out there.
And watching them warm up, they're hitting the ball hard.
Yeah.
They're getting well above the net.
So it's all going to boil down to, though, that's in perfect scenarios. When we warm up, we can do that as well, but you get rolling in the game, and there's so many other things that have to happen during that time to really line up, a good, clean, at the net kill.
So I would have to think that the key to this game is going to be getting Olivia Smith and getting Lauren Unruh up at the net, double blocking, getting in front of some of those big hitters from Tremont. And then getting the back row to come up and get those deflections coming off of those blocks.
We've got a fantastic back row. I can't say enough of Damarajan. I think she's something special. And we'll get to see that again tonight. So coming up here in about a minute and a half, we're going to have opening prayer, national anthem, starting lineups, and we will get all of that to you here. Also, if you're just joining us tonight, thanks to the high school boys. There's several of them here tonight that are contributing to this broadcast, and you have them to thank from all these different camera angles throughout the gym. We've got a live cam on the shoulders down on Mason Dems, down right by the scores table. He'll be bringing you video shots from the huddle and close-up shots of servers and that type of thing. We've got another mobile camera up here in the UTSA, and then our static camera from center court all night long. And I'll switch by Mr. Garrett, Brother Garrett. Thank you very much for doing what you do tonight.
Doing a great job,
Fantastic.
Garrett. Keep up the good work.
Up until then, it's always time to enjoy Journey. It's a great song. I don't know how this is a warm-up song.
That's what I was just going to say. I'm kind of getting mellowed out here. I don't know if this is to pump us up
Well,
or not.
maybe it's, they're playing it for the other team. I would have put on some classical music maybe.
That's right.
Just
make the other team fall
some
asleep.
soothing viola,
Hey, there's our sponsor from Tuesday night coming up.
Woodman. Hey, there's Woodman. Hey, thank you for sponsoring, and it's only going to cost you a lunch, so that's only 2 that you owe us now. Did you get any phone calls from your sponsorship? Not a one.
Didn't sell a single burrito.
No, none of the 6 called you, huh? No. Well, you haven't paid for last year yet. All right, I'm going to hop off here and get through the starting lineups.
And quite the introduction there. Good job, Dan. You can feel the energy in here tonight with the student section. We got whiteout night tonight. And the student section is here to cheer their team on. So hopefully that helps the girls out tonight.
So Dave Wolf down there doing the music in the background to
I like it. I like it a
psych
lot.
up the student section. So out there once again for starters, Hancock, Unruh, Webb, Witt, Hitteman, and Smith. And this is a 6-person team. Actually, Damarajan is out there to start as well, so she will sub in right away at the beginning. Typically for Olivia Smith, who starts in the back row.
Yeah, so we need to come out of the gate just like we did on set 2 last night. And they came out charged up, and they jumped out to about a 10 to 12-point lead. I don't remember how quick it was, but that's what we need tonight against this good Tremont team. And hopefully the student section will help with that.
Yeah, and that's what they need. They get fired up, and that's what they need to do right from the beginning. So Tremont out there as well. Cyclones 1-2 on the season. Again, game 3 in a row here, 3 nights in a row. Then we got a little bit of a break for 4 or 5 nights here till next Tuesday night. And that stage is going to be a little bit crazy this evening, I'm afraid.
I like it.
Officials down there looking at her receipt of her latest purchase and trying to figure out, yeah, I don't understand it either there. That's Kathy Finley. Kathy's a fantastic official. She's down here on this side for this game. She's like, are you guys full? Have you guys eaten? Yep, we've all eaten. All right, go for it. Back to serve first is Olivia Hitteman. 0-0 here, set number 1 of the varsity match. Hitteman fires across into the net. And a quick sign out right over to the Turks. Not how you want to start out, but.
No, it's not usually what we see out of Olivia, but it happens.
Number 9 back for the Turks, fired to the back row.
Haley.
Dug out nicely by Webb. Far side to Hancock, has to go over. Webb again with it to get it over. Tipped up, fired down. And a great kill.
Now they had their timing down on that one.
She's 6'2", 6'3", it looks like.
She was a 1.5 feet above the net.
Got some hops.
And she was going up before the setter even had the ball in her hands.
Pour it, dug out nicely by Damarajan. Over to Lauren Unruh. Back row.
That's a double.
They've got to get it up. They do. Tipped over. Back row. And a beautiful tip by Tremont. Just to that back corner. Nobody was there. And it'll be a point quickly. 3-point advantage now for the Turks.
And we need to get some blockers up in front of that number 13 when she goes up like that.
Anna Porritt here going for serve number 3. Nice serve. Back corner. Out of bounds. Nice eyes by Haley Webb to let that one go. And a side out. And the first point of the night for the Cyclones now. Down 3-1.
We got Jess Halverson coming in for Haley Webb.
Jess in the spot she likes to be, and Anna Hancock back to serve. As solid as they come behind the court, too. Nice
Great
serve. Anna Hancock. Beautifully done. And an ace for Hancock. 3-2 now. Cyclones down by 1. Hancock again with it. Back corner. Fires. Same person. Up in the air. Playable. They're just going to have to get it across. They do. Dug out by Anna. Up front to Hitteman. Blocked! And Unruh had it blocked by the Twin Towers up there and put back to the back row.
You can say that again. Twin Towers, they were both right up. They were a 1.5 feet over the net.
I was going to say, and they jump incredibly well. So number 5, Mac Fletterer. Back to serve for the Turks. And a nice serve. That one goes down low and right in between Hammer and Damarajan.
And that ball was aiming for the back line, and I think Damarajan just thought about it 1 second too long.
Yep. Fletterer again, back.
Get up.
Gets it over. This one's set up far side. Turns, fires.
Great
What a block by
Unruh.
Unruh. Tipped over. Dug out nicely there by Hitteman. Near side, Halverson fires. Return nicely, libero up in the air. Have to get it across, they do. Just tip it. Back row, Hammer. Up row to Hitteman. And Halverson fires across again, her signature move. Up 20, tips, Hammer. Now with it, Hitteman. Back set, over far to Witt.
Oh,
Witt
great
fires
hit.
cross court. Back up in the air. Fired back row, Damarajan. Up to Hitteman. Back set, Unruh just has to one-arm it across, and a great save by Unruh. Far side, 20, just tips it up in the air. This one's got to go over. Damarajan knows it. What a save. Back up to the front row. Hit, and a beautiful kill once again. And that's pretty.
Well,
that is pretty by
Their
Tremont.
timing is different than the other teams we've seen so far. So our girls up at the net aren't jumping soon enough.
Yeah, it's a very short set. That set doesn't go high at all. They know that the hitter is right there in the air before the setter even gets there.
Yep.
Flederer back to serve again. Damarajan off her arm. And that's not typical right there.
No, it's
not typical.
And again, she thought just for a split second this ball might be going out.
So you've got a couple of Flederers in there. You've got Mac and you've got Maya. I would imagine being M's and Flederers, they're sisters. Mac right now, out the backside.
That was no question.
Yeah, that was an easy call. 7-3. Cyclones down. Damarajan gets a breather here. And Olivia Smith into the game for blocking. So Unruh back to serve. And Unruh, and she was off on that serve as well.
Yeah, you could tell her timing was off on her approach.
Damarajan quickly back into the game here. Now over to serve for Tremont is Shade Andrews. Andrews back row. Dive nicely by Hammer. Up to Hitteman. Has to get across. Smith does. Back row. Back up to the front for Tremont. Have to tip it over. Not going to happen. And it's going to be a point over to the Cyclones. 4-point deficit now. And subs coming back into the game. You've got Kate Hancock coming in as well as Adrian Gary.
So I like to see Olivia Smith in there on the middle front.
Yeah, she's as active as anybody up in that front row.
She gets aggressive with that blocking, and that's what we need.
So Gary now back to serve for the Cyclones. 8-4. Cyclones down by 4 here in set number 1. Gary, back middle. Up to the front for Tremont. Loads, backside, fires cross court. And number 20.
That was a great hit.
That was just,
I mean,
that's just pretty. It's just no other way to say it.
there's
It's just
not
pretty.
much you're going to do with that. Unless you happen to be the place she's aiming.
She can not only hit, she just jumps out of the gym.
Well, and she's 7 foot tall.
Yeah. Back row, out of bounds. 9-5 now. The score for the Cyclones, and back into the game for Callista Hammer is Anna Hancock. Back to serve is Jess Halverson. Halverson was thinking about short serving there. Set up nicely. Here comes 9. Had to left-hand it. Damarajan over to Gary. Hancock now with it. Fires cross court back to the back. Could have been called right there. 2 hands. 9. Fires back. Damarajan. Up front, Gary. Gary set up nicely. Anna Hancock fires cross court. Saved nicely by Tremont, who has to tap it over. Hancock with it. Back up to Gary. Back over to Anna. Reaches. Fires. Again. Nice save by the libero. Back row set. Spike into the net. And a nice volley there, and the Cyclones come out on top.
So Anna with 2 great hits to the back right, and on that second one, it forced that libero to not quite get the pass she wanted. It stayed in the back row, and that made the difference.
They're keeping the ball out of the front row and out of the hands of the big hitters. Back set, has to reach back for it. Damarajan digs it out. Gary up at the net.
Oh,
what a great save by Olivia Smith. And to see her dodge the line, too. Cross court, Gary. Damarajan up to Hannah Hancock. Fires to back row. Up, quick tip over the net. Damarajan up to Gary. Back set over to Hancock.
Okay.
Hancock fires! And just out of bounds. And a great set there, but just a little too far for Kate Hancock.
Yeah, coach is telling her you got to get on top of that ball, and she knows it too.
Jess Halverson subbing out, and Haley Webb into the game for the Cyclones.
We got number 20, Whitney Rumble. They're one of their big hitters. And that
Out
goes
of bounds. And they've had 3 of those that are long.
Yeah.
So I think they were watching the JV game thinking the back line might be, the same as we had in the JV game. Varsity's not so much here.
So Tremont committing 3 service errors.
Damarajan back to serve. Cyclones trail by 3. Dug out by the libero. They have to reach to set it, get across. Not going to happen. And a point to the Cyclones.
That was a great serve from Genini to the libero there, and the libero just not able to get under it enough to get a good pass to the setter. And that's what we need to throw him off on that pass.
Nearly packed gymnasium. This serve going to go long, though, for Genini. And it's going to be a point over to Tremont. So Tremont now carries a 3-point advantage at 11-8. And back to serve is their libero, Bella Porritt. Nice serve by Porritt. Back row. Webb up in the air quickly to Gary, and Gary right into the net. So it's so awkward to handle that and try to get it back up in the air. It's a very tough duty.
It's almost, I would almost like to see her go up over the net and just tip it back over rather than try to dig it out.
Porritt with another one. Dug out nicely by Webb. Up front, though, reaching for it is Lauren Unruh, and that one's going to go back into the net, under the net, and a point back to Tremont.
So
13-8.
Tables turned here a little bit. We can't get a good pass to our setter.
And Jess Halverson coming back into the game here for Haley Webb. Halverson coming back in for her defense here in the back row. Porritt back with it for Tremont. She's got a nice serve. Dug out nicely by Hancock.
Serve.
Yep. Setting up far side. Their big dog just tips it. Blocked. Hancock back up and over with it. Setting up again. Quick set. Damarajan up to Gary. Over to Unruh. And what a block.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to hit anything through those blockers.
No.
Got to go up and over.
They're a good 1.5 feet with their hands above the net. So we're going to have to adjust somehow. Cross hit, across the net, or just tap it up and over.
Yep.
So Porritt with another opportunity here. They're up by 6. Back row out of bounds. They're going to let that one sail. And 14-9, side out back to the Cyclones. Substitutions back into the game. You've got Hitteman coming back in as well as Carson Witt.
Going to give Gary a breather.
Gary and Kate Hancock get a breather here. And Hitteman now back to serve for the Cyclones. Nice serve. Just over the net!
Serve.
And you like to see one of those go your way once in a while.
Absolutely. I don't think we've had one of those yet this year.
No. Nice serve by Olivia. Serve number 2. This one,
another
nice.
Good serve.
Just dove off. Has to go over. Dug out nicely. Back set to Witt. Witt turns, fires.
We got to get up.
Up and block. What a great block by Anna Hancock. Unruh!
Oh, Unruh,
there you
get
go,
caught.
Lauren! You may be tall, but I want it more.
But she got there first.
She got there, yep. Nice job by Unruh. 14-11.
We saw that from Lauren last night a couple of times, and she was on. That's what we need.
Nice serve again. Tipped up, Anna Hancock. Big dog fired into the net, and a great block there by the girls as well. Witt and Unruh. 14-12, Cyclones back within 2.
And we've got some momentum going here.
One more point, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a timeout by Tremont. Back
great
row.
Serve.
Set up nicely, have to reach back for it. Fired back row, Damarajan. Up to Hitteman. Now tipped over the net by Unruh. Played nicely by the Turks here. Far side, here they go. Blocked, up in the air. Jess Halverson has it. Damarajan have to get it over. Anna Hancock now fires. Back up into the net. That one's going to fall. And a point to the Cyclones. We're going to see a timeout right here. And that's exactly what happened.
That
Tremont,
was a great play from Anna Hancock. She made that play happen.
Yeah, she sure did.
The other 2 girls kept it alive enough, and she actually got a good hit on that ball that was really not that great of a set.
So the Cyclones now getting fired up. Tremont feeling it, calling a timeout. Cyclones trail by 1 here. 14-13 in set number 1 on a near-capacity crowd here at Cornerstone. Whiteout night. I don't know why you call it that. Still don't. Still don't quite get it, but hey, it's a thing.
Yeah, we don't want to think about whiteouts right now. We want to wear the shorts for as long as we can.
I don't know. I'm a snow guy.
Are you?
I am. I'd rather have snow any day of the week. one of those guys that likes his air conditioning really low, too. So
Yeah, well, I do, too.
I bet you mine's lower.
Probably
What do you keep your set at?
Well, my wife kind of throttles me back a little bit on that. Otherwise, I'd have it down to about 68.
Okay. So during the day, I bump it up to 71.
Oh, wow.
At night, it's 67. That's where it's got to be at.
Mine's 74 at night.
It's only because my upstairs is like 8 degrees warmer than my
yeah.
first floor. So
Yeah.
anyway, I don't know how we even got on that topic. I think it had something to do with what they were wearing on stage. Regardless, hit him in back with it. Serves back row. That one going to go out of bounds and a point and side out back to the Turks.
Well, we got a 2-point game going. We got number 9 coming up and up for it.
So they got a couple Ports and a couple of flutterers back there.
So it's a family affair.
Yeah, it is. That one back row. Halverson up to Hitteman. Has to get over. Anna Hancock with it. Fires back to the middle. Tremont setting up number 5. Just tips it over. Nice block. Unruh back up in the air with it. And I think that's at least 5 hits right there.
It's a good effort.
But, hey, you think about that. That ball's spinning like that, and they're hitting it straight up, and it's
And you got 3
it's
girls
difficult.
on top of
Yep.
it.
16-13, Cyclones down by 3. Pour it back to serve. Back to the middle. Dug out nicely by Damarajan. Now over to Witt. Witt just has to get it across. She does. Back up to the front row. Watch out. And that's when you're 6'5", I don't know.
You don't have to jump, but when she jumps, she
Holy
is
cow.
looking down on everyone.
I tell you, it's fun to watch. It is. 17-13. Cyclones down by 4. See if we can get a rally here. Pour it back to serve for the Turks. Fired across. Up in the air, Witt. Cross court to Hitteman. Back to Witt. Witt turns. Fires. Beautifully done.
Wow. What a hit from Carson
Are you
Witt.
kidding? They're going to say that was out of bounds.
No, that was not out of bounds.
Even the Turks
That was a
thought
foot,
it was in bounds.
That was a foot inside
Even
bounds.
the Turks thought it was in bounds, and they gave the ball over to Cyclones.
That was not even close.
Wow. All right, well, it happens. 18-13, down by 5. Port back to serve again. Dug out by Damarajan, up in the air. Halverson with it now. Over to Witt. Witt tips it back over. Far side, back up to the front. They're just going to loam it over. They do. Back up the front. Tipped again by Witt. Upside to Hitteman. And what a nice tip by Anna Hancock.
That was just a smart play by Anna on that one.
They know how big these girls are up front, and those girls are all up blocking. So what a better way to do it than to not set up our hitters, but just last minute, just kind of lob it over to where they're not. Side out, Cyclones now back within 4. Anna Hancock fires. That one's really long out the back. So back to Tremont. Tremont has a 5-point advantage here in set number 1 at 19-14. Mac Flutterer back. Dug out nicely. Back up in the air. Damarajan's got to get it across. She does. And they're going to short slap. Yep, that's pretty. That's pretty. It's just such a short set. They've done this. They've rehearsed this so much that it's hard to beat that. It really is.
We're going to have to figure it out.
Going to have to do something. Just keep it away from her.
Yeah.
Flutterer back to serve again. 20-14, Cyclones down by 6. Dug up in the air here.
Get up.
And hit him in there. I think was thinking that was going to come off the net a little bit different. It didn't, and a timeout here. Morin wants it. Timeout going the other direction this time as the Turks have rallied and jumped up by 7.
So we've seen that several times tonight where that pass goes right up by the net, and we're just struggling with what to do with it. And the setters are trying to dig it back out of the net. I don't know if that's what they're supposed to do, but I want somebody to get up while the ball's still above the net and just tip it over.
Now, our points have come when we get the ball back to the back row. They're not passing. Tremont's not passing the ball the greatest up to the front. Yeah. It's when the ball comes right over the net and the front row has an opportunity to get it and set it right away. That's when those big hits are coming that are killing us. We got to keep that ball back into that back row of Tremont and let them have to pass it up accurately to the front.
Yeah.
That's the only way to keep it out of those big hitters. And they're tall girls. There's nothing Nothing else to say. They're all tall girls.
No, and they're getting their timing down with the
Yeah.
sets on those quick sets, and tough to defend against.
Flutterer back to serve. This one going into the net. That's what you want to see.
That's number 4 service area from Tremont.
So we're going to see here if Lauren Unruh can do anything with it. Unruh serve. This one going down into the net, out of bounds. And great job by Callista Hammer watching that one like a hawk. And that one's out of bounds, and a point to the Cyclones. Unruh back again with it. Nice serve by Lauren. Dove down again. That was pretty. They just have to get it across. Unruh back up to Hitteman. Near side over to
Great hit.
Jess Halverson. Played well. Unruh up in the air. Hitteman now with it. Back to Witt. Witt turns and just mishit that one, and she wishes she had that one back.
Yeah, you don't see that too often from Carson coming from that. She had a great set. She just mistimed it a little bit.
Lauren Unruh coming out to get a breather here. Tremont serving back row. Dug out nicely by Halverson. Hitteman back to Halverson. Fires back row.
Great hit from Halverson.
And a great job by Jess Halverson seeing a back corner that was open and putting one down. We've got Gary and Kate Hancock coming back into the game for Hitteman and Witt. Standard rotation here. Gary gets the serve. So we'll see what Adrian can do here. 22-17, Cyclones down by 5. Set number 1. Gary, nice serve. Dropped it down, nice pass up to the front. Here we go. 20, just taps it. Dug out nicely. Back to Gary. Gary, back set. Kate Hancock loads, fires. Blocked by the back row. Up in the air again. Hancock reaches, puts down. They got to get this one over. 30 says okay. She does it. Out of bounds. And a point over to the Cyclones. 22-18. And another great eye by Callista Hammer, just to let that one go. Gary here, serve number 2, fires back row. Doug passed up nicely. A little long set. That one goes off the top of the net, and a great effort by Jess Halverson there to try to get underneath that one, but to side out back to the Turks. So now they're at 23. They need a side out and 7 straight points.
This is Ashlyn Reisinger serving for the Turks.
Dug out, and that's going the wrong direction. Nice serve there by Reisinger.
We've seen good serving from both sides tonight.
Yes, it's been very consistent. Nice serve. That one going out back, and that will be the set number 1. That will go over to Tremont. And the Cyclones just kind of falling apart there a little bit in the last 2 serves. But I think the story has been the front row thus far of Tremont. And I would imagine every opposing coach at the end of set 1 has said that all season long.
Yeah, every opposing coach knows that they have to deal with that. But the trick is, what do you do?
Right. So, one of the things that I saw early in set number 1, we talked about it briefly, was that back row's passing has not been the greatest up to the front. Now, they have made some nice passes up the front, but it's not been consistent. The points that we received early was when the hits were going back to the back row and dug out, and those passes weren't in a position where the setter could set up the hitter. And when those hitters couldn't get set, you take them out of the equation. Now, then you've also got it vice versa. They're setting up as blockers. So how do you get around that on the other end? And I think that's where coach is going to come in here and say, okay, so if they're standing in front of you, what are you going to do? You've got to kind of reach back. You've got 2 choices. You can hit it around them or hit it up over the top of them. But you can't hit it into them because they're going to block it every time.
No, they're a wall up there up front. You're not going to hit it through those 2. And I think what he's going to tell them is hit it to those outside corners. Like you said, if we can get it to the back row, when our serves are to the back row, they're struggling to get it back up to the setter. So that's what we need to do, is keep hitting it hard to the back row. Even if we have to tip it over those 2 blockers to the back row, that will eventually pay off. We just got to keep it out of the hands of the setter so she can't get a good set on those 2.
Since when did Bon Jovi become popular in 2021 again? Well, notice that every kid up there is like, what is this?
Yeah.
Dave Wolf. Dave Wolf is playing Bon Jovi. He's controlling it from right in front of us. They're like, yeah, we don't even know who that is. What song is that, Dave Wolf? Cyclones needing to come back out here and pull out a victory. We'd like to come out here with at least one set victory against Tremont, if not a match.
That set was actually closer than what the score showed. These two teams were battling it out. So Cornerstone can hang with them. They just got to get some balls to fall their way.
Yep.
And not commit errors.
Well, we knew Tremont was going to be good. We didn't know they would be quite as tall as they were.
Number 20 and number 13 are just outstanding.
Just can jump out of the building. All right, so here we go, getting set for set number 2. You got Unruh, Anna Hancock, Witt. You've got Olivia Smith. You've got Hitteman in there, and and Webb. So Smith will come out here, and Damarajan will sub right in. Damarajan goes back to find her home right there in the back middle. And Tremont will have... Did we serve first in that first set?
Yes. Lauren Unruh served
That's right.
first.
That's right. So Tremont will have the serve here. Number 9 back there, Anna Porritt. And she rattled off 5 in a row here in set number 1. See if Cornerstone can't end it right now. Porritt with it, back row, dug out nicely by Webb. Up to Hitteman. Real quick tap over the net. Return nicely. Quick set.
She kind of held on to that
She
one a
did.
little bit.
That was in the fingers and turned and went down. But they didn't call it. So that's all right.
It just looked strange to me.
It did. It looked a little bit different.
Like she was slam dunking a basketball.
Yep. Webb, this one going the wrong direction out the back of the court. And Cyclones find themselves here quickly in a 2-point hole with Tremont still serving. Porritt did this a little bit here in the first set where she rattled off 5 or 6 straight. And we had a couple of them that were hard to return. So see if the Cyclones can't get underneath one here, get it back up to the setters. Student section going a little crazy there, and Witt reached up for that one, I'm sorry. And you got to let the back row get those. Get those.
Yeah, and I think she realized it, but she's such a competitor that she's not going to let a ball whiz past her head.
Trying to make something happen here. Porritt again with it. Let's go, Cyclones. That one going out of bounds, and nice eye there by the back row. And a point quickly, and that's where we were in set number 1, 3-1 with the side out. So back to serve Anna Hancock. And Webb's going to get a breather here. And Jess Halverson back into the game. Anna Hancock reaches back. Another nice serve by Anna. Like to see that. She does it well. Out the back and an ace for Hancock.
And that's what we need. We need some hard serves to the back row.
Yep.
That's going to be the key.
Make the back row play here. Get it right to 20. She's a hitter, not the back row player. That's where she's going. Back row again. Set. Far side here, near side. Back returned up by Damarajan. Over to Hitteman. Hitteman now, near side to Halverson. Just a tap, and that one goes down and out of bounds off the block. But there we have it. It wasn't passed up to the front. It was passed back to the spike line, and it threw them off their rhythm. Tied up 3-3 here, set number 2. Hancock back with it. Anna fires cross court again.
That's
dug
what
out
we
by the
need.
libero. And another ace. Anna Hancock put 3 together here. Let's keep them going.
If she can put it right between the libero and number 20, we've got something.
Keep going back to that corner. Hancock with it again. She does, but that one's going long. And she was trying to get it there. So Hancock comes out back into the game. Callista Hammer now for defense.
We're tied up.
And as soon as her spot comes back up to the front, you'll see Anna come back into the game here. Number 2 out there, Jada Rumbold for the Turks. Into the game to serve here. There's a couple Rumbolds too. Gee whiz. Hitteman. Unruh fires and puts it down.
Nice.
You can do it. I can do it too. Cyclones 5-4.
And that was a pretty set.
That
there.
was. Olivia Smith now into the game as Unruh goes back to serve. Unruh fires across. That one just wide. Out of bounds and a side out back to Tremont. 24 into the game for Tremont. Libero gets a breather here. Bellaporit back to serve for them. Shane Andrews. Serve deep. Let it go. That one about the basketball out of bounds line. So side out back to the Cyclones. Substitutions back into the game. Gary's back in. And Kate Hancock. And these substitutions are like clockwork. You know who's coming in. There's no deviation. It's really the same people at the same time every possession.
Yeah, and that's getting into that rhythm. They know what they're doing.
Danielle Gary, and then you're going to see her come up to the net. Dug out nicely. Up in the air. Blocked!
Yeah.
And put down by Witt and Hancock, and they're going to say she was in the net.
That was Olivia Smith and Kate Hancock, and that looked clean to me. I don't think I think the ball, if anything, hit that net.
Obviously, we're biased, but still. Tremont tied up, 6-6, back to serve, fired back row, and she made a decision not to hit it and then to hit it.
Yes. And that's been happening a lot tonight because those balls are coming fast, and it's a judgment call when you're back at the back line.
It is. I mean, look at her. She's 2 foot away from the line, and that ball's coming at you at 25 mile an hour. You got to make a call. Serve, back row, Hammer with it again, up front, Gary. Gary now with it near side. Kate Hancock loads and fires. Saved up, big dog, back to the back row. Out of bounds! Out of bounds, and a point to the Cyclones. That one was clear as day right there.
Yes, it was.
But, that was the thing, too. When those passes are not making up to the front, those hitters cannot hit like they want to.
Kate got a good hit on that last one.
Alverson up now. Anna Hancock with it. Was not in the net that time. Point to the Cyclones, and they've got a 1-point advantage here. 8-7. Jess Alverson. Serve. Back row. Up to the setter. There you go. Quick set. Turn. Fire. Dug out by Damarajan. Up to Gary. Back set over to Kate Hancock. Just kind of taps it over. Here you go for another short set. Had to reach back for it, though. Damarajan with it again. Gary right up to Damarajan. That was kind of miscommunication there by the Cyclones. Quick set, 20, blocked by Hancock up in the air, and that one's going to fall. And number 20, when she is locked and loaded like that, there's not much is going to stop her.
No, she didn't quite get the swing that she normally gets on, so we had a chance at it, and we just tipped it into the net. But that's just, you're going to have that.
I mean, she is a potential college hitter. That's how good she is. Nice serve. Dug out nicely by Webb. Up to Gary. Has to go over, and a miscommunication. Nobody was there. And Cyclones now down by 1, 9-8. Halverson. Jess is going to come back into the game here for Webb.
The girls just got a little lax on that one.
Yep.
They weren't talking about who was going to take it, and the ball was deeper than they wanted to, so it was kind of a guessing game who was going to get that ball.
It's easy to take a deep breath, and that's not what needed to happen right there. Number 20, another nice serve. Damarajan off her arm. Anna's got to get it back. Damarajan's got to get it across. Back row, up by 20. Setter now, far side 5. What a pretty hit.
Wow. That was a great set.
What a pretty hit.
5 had it timed just right.
Yep.
So number 5, Mac Fletter, puts that kill down.
It's a good volleyball team.
Very good.
Good volleyball team right here. 10-8. Cyclones only down by 2. And Whitney Rumbold back with it again. Serve, back to the back row. Anna Hancock with it. Up to Gary. Near side, Olivia Smith just taps it over. They're going to have to play this one just to hit it over. They do. Dug out nicely by Damarajan. Gary now. Forward set. Anna Hancock. Fire. Block. Dug out by Halverson. Anna Hancock does get it over. Plays. Play on, they say. Tip. That one just going to get tipped and over and down. And number 9, Anna Porritt, She knew she wasn't going to hit that one. Her timing wasn't there. She just reached over and tapped it over the blockers.
Yeah, that was a good look by Tremont. They just knew that they just needed to get it over top, and they saw the hole there on the right, and we couldn't get there quick enough.
Witt and Webb now into the game for Gary and Halverson. And Whitney Rumbold back again with it to serve for the Turks. 11-8, Cyclones
That's
down by 3, out of bounds. And a side out, get her out of there, side out, back over to the Cyclones.
She went through about 5 or 6 points with that one.
Lauren Unruh back into the game for Olivia Smith. Now, they did not, how did that happen? They did not switch out. They just ran in and ran. Okay, I'm not going to say anything. Set back up. 9 hits across court. Damarajan up with it. Witt. Back set. Kate Hancock has to retreat a little bit. Dug out nicely by the Turks. Near side over to 5. Blocked by Unruh! And Hancock both up there. And the Cyclones back within 1.
And Unruh says, not in my house.
When she gets fired up, she's fun to watch.
We
she
need
is.
her fired up.
Yeah.
She got fired up last night, and it took us on a run of about 9 points.
We need that right here. Cyclones trail 1-0. Damarajan, beautiful serve! Jenny with a great serve just in front of the back row, and we're knotted up at 11.
And now we got Tremont on their heels just a little bit.
Hancock and Unruh up at the net, back row. Nice pass up front. Quick set. 9 fires cross. Damarajan, beautiful dig. Witt now over to Unruh, just tips it. Near side, libero. 5 has to reach back for it. Out of bounds! Out of bounds, and a point to the Cyclones. 12-11 now.
And the thing you notice right now about Tremont is they don't have number 13 in there.
Yep, exactly. Damarajan, beautiful serve. Have to get it back in play. They do. Just tip across. Nice dig by Webb. Witt now. Unruh, just a tap. That's what she needed to do. Adjust. Far side now to 5, who just tips it over. Witt with the dive. And the official played that one. I think he touched it. It's in play.
A little help from the ref.
Side out, 12-12 now. Back to Tremont. And we'll see if 13 jumps back up here.
I don't see any movement.
So the libero, Bella Porritt.
And she's got a fantastic serve.
She does. It's pretty, and it just sails very nicely. Dives off right at the back row. Witt with it now. Far side, Kate Hancock blocked, out of bounds, and a side out. Back to the Cyclones.
And Lauren Unruh is charged up right now. That's what we need.
It's nice to have a 1-2 hit like Hancock and Unruh in there.
And Kate hit that one hard.
Yeah, she did.
13 back in for Tremont.
Cyclones up by 1. Hit him in now and into the net. And those service errors.
One thing I've noticed about Tremont is when they know that there's a chance that, hey, something's changing, they'll hit a safe serve. They don't hit a hard serve every time.
13 back into the game for Tremont. This one lobbed back to the back row. Up into the net. Hard one to dig out. And Webb struggling with those a little bit tonight. Has hit a couple of those.
Yeah, she just needs to put them straight up in the air. Give time for the setter just to get under it.
Anna Porritt back to serve for Tremont. Turks now. Fire that one into the net. And a side out back to the Cyclones. 14-all now. So Halverson back into the game for Webb. And again, set rotation. This is what they do. They know, these girls know when they're coming in and where they're going. Anna Hancock back for it. Fires that back corner. Set up, quick
Lauren
set.
To get up.
Blocked
Yes!
by Unruh. This
And
one back row.
over.
What a set. Hit him in again. Unruh, one more time, but out of bounds. And a point.
Boy, the ref just hesitated on that one again, and that was out.
Yeah, and it was. It was a good call. Unruh, though, getting fired up. 15-14. We need this one back. Flederer back to serve for Tremont. Back row. Out of bounds. And a great eye by Damarajan. And Halverson just to let that one go. Unruh now back to serve. Olivia Smith in now. So when Unruh's back to serve, Smith's up at the net.
I like that.
Unruh. That one. And her serve has not been on this evening at all.
No, she's been right to left. It's a pretty looking serve.
It is.
She's just not putting it in the court.
Damarajan back into the game to give Unruh a breather. 13 back to serve. Anna Hancock with it. Now up to Hitteman. Reaches across. Halverson. Beautiful play. Block. Olivia Smith out of bounds. And a point over to Tremont. 17-15. 2-point Tremont lead here in set number 2. Cyclones got to win this set to force a third.
The last time 13 served it, she served it out of bounds. We'll see what happens.
Long drops off. Nice dig out, but that one's going to be trouble right up into the net and through the hole between the pole and the net.
There was nothing fancy about that serve. Actually, she played that serve safe.
Yep.
We should have been able to put that one back.
Just a miss hit on our part. Let's have it happen one more time. 18-15, 3-point lead by the Turks, and Morin wants a timeout. And he went over and gave Kathy a hug there, saying, I'm sorry, I should have called that a few seconds earlier. So the Cyclones now down by 3, set number 2. This is completely and totally winnable for them. It really is.
Absolutely, yeah, they're keeping it
really
close.
Yeah, I mean, as good as Tremont is, Cornerstone's hanging right with them. I mean, that's a testament to how good our girls are. It's just, again, it's just a few errors here and there that's keeping them from turning the tides on everything.
Tweak a couple of things.
Yep.
Our serve receives a little shakier than what it has been the last 2 games. We got to get those serves back up, straight up in the air, at least so that the setter can get under them and get a good set on them.
You're going to get a quick view here of what's going on in the huddle. Cyclones now in the huddle trying to keep fired up and pull out a set number 2 victory here at 18-15. I don't know why we're singing Sweet Caroline. I'm not understanding that call at all.
I don't know. We got to talk to the DJ.
DJ or DW. The Dave Wolf down there. 13 back to serve. Back row. Hammer with it. Up to the front to Heddeman. Reaches back Smith. Just gets it over. They couldn't do anything with it. Miscommunication.
And it turns into a soccer game.
Absolutely. You can't hit it with your hand. Reach out with your foot. Substitutions now. You've got Gary coming in for Witt and Hancock coming in for Hitteman. Gary back to serve. Soon after she serves, she's going to run right up to the front. And a nice play! What a great serve!
So she hit that one to their setter, and it went off her fingertips.
Yeah, Adrian Gary there with a beautiful serve. And I would imagine she'll target her again right here. She does. Right back at her. Back up to the front row. Nice pass. Uh-oh. Fired. What a block! Great block by Olivia Smith. Up again. 20 with it. Block again! Backside. 30 now. Reaches back row. Damarajan with it. Up to Gary. Near side. Halverson with it. Fires to the back row. Quickly over to 13. She cuts it down. What a dig! And going to go out of bounds. But a great volley there by both squads.
Great volley. Great effort. Damarajan saved that ball.
She did. So Witt's going to come in right now for Gary. And Carson coming in for defensive purposes. And to be an outside hitter there as well. 30 back to serve.
Ashlyn Reisinger, that's their setter, serving.
Tremont now up by 2. You can hear the student section giving her a hard time. Fired to the back row. Damarajan with it. Witt. Quick set over to Hancock. Hancock turns and fires. And did not see that one the way she wanted it to.
No, that set got a little too far outside. She was set up for it, and she had to move that set up and threw her off.
30 Reisinger back to serve again here. Tremont up by 3. Serve. That one dug out nicely.
Great dig. That came off the top of the net.
Olivia Smith gets it over. Reach back, fire, dug out again by Hammer. Up to the net. Up in the air is Witt. Damarajan tries to one-hand it. Not going to happen, but great effort there by the girls to try to keep that one in play. 21-17. Cyclones now down by 4, and another timeout by Coach Morin.
So they're fighting hard on this one, and they're not able to put something cohesive together to get a good hit back at them.
Yeah, it's I think they struggle with that first hit coming over the net, and if it's not returned nicely or not set up nicely, it throws everybody off. And
Yeah.
but if it's passed nicely up to the front, the Cyclones seem to get into their groove, and everybody gets in their position. But they're really struggling with that first hit.
They're finding themselves scrambling on almost every ball that's coming over and just can't get set up.
Student section up on the stage tonight at Whiteout Night here at CCA. Not sure.
They're just having fun.
They're having fun because Sweet Caroline, it's amazing to me that they all know this song. It really is.
It's a classic.
They're all going to sing it. They all know it. It's crazy.
And they've got Tremont into it, too.
Reisinger back to serve for Tremont. 21-17, 4-point Tremont advantage, set number
That's
2.
going
Out of bounds.
So that timeout worked.
Yep.
Sometimes the coach scores.
So Hammer's going to stay in. Right now is where Anna Hancock was going to come in, but Hammer's going to come up to the front row here. Coach has got something up his sleeve, he's saying. He stopped him. Halverson back with it.
Good serve
Nice
from
serve.
Halverson.
Far side. And the libero took that one away from number 9, and she wishes she didn't.
No, I don't think we've seen the libero try to hit one yet tonight.
Halverson again with it. 21-19, 2-point game. Dug out nicely. Set up, short set. Long fly to the back row. What a well-placed ball.
Put it
What
right
a
on the
well-placed
line.
ball.
And Coach Moore knew it as soon as he saw it. Not much you can do with that one.
Yeah, she is quite a ball player. Number 20 back to serve. Whitney Rumbold. Fired back. Hammer with it. Up in the air. Damarajan has to go over. Witt does get it over. Back to number 20. Here's their setter. Far side. 5. Fires. Nice block by Hancock. Witt. Quick hit. Right over the net. Back up to 30. 5 again. Tips to the back row. And Witt was too far up front. She was coming up to dig that one out from a block. And it went over the hands of Kate Hancock into the back corner. 23-19. Tremont 2 points away from the sweep tonight. Back row, Damarajan up to Witt. Near side, Hammer's just got to get it across. She does. Up to the net again. Tip back row. Witt up to Damarajan. And Halverson just has to tip it over. Playable here by the Tremont. Near side, reaches, fires, dug out. Nice save by Damarajan. Witt. Hancock back row, out of bounds. And we've got match point for the night coming up for the Turks.
That was a good volley back and forth. Damarajan once again comes up with a couple of big digs.
And Whitney Rumbold back to serve. That one's going to
That's
go out of bounds. And a little breath of life here. But Cornerstone needs 5 straight. They haven't done that all night long. Rattled off 5 straight.
No, but we got Damarajan coming up serving. And
She's as solid as anybody.
And she's been on fire tonight. She's been hitting as hard as I've seen her hit her serve tonight.
So substitutions coming in, coming out. Not for sure here what's going on. We've had people come on the floor, back off the bench. And now coach is over there trying to explain that he really did nothing wrong. And Kathy's saying, yes, you did. Hang on 1 second. Damarajan back to serve. Unruh, Hammer, and Hitteman up at the front row. Nice serve. Brought up in the air. Setter over to number 9. Fires cross court. Dug out by Witt. Damarajan now. Near side over to Hitteman. Just has to get it over. She does. Up in the net. Unruh. No need for the block, but 5 gets it over. Hammer up in the air. Witt backwards set. Hitteman reaches back for it. Tips it over. Turks now with it. 5. Uh-oh. Up in the air. Great save by Witt. Damarajan has to go over. Hammer. Nice play.
Oh, off of a miss hit.
And they're going to get it over. What a great play. Halverson with the save. Witt up there. Hancock with it. Or excuse me, Hammer with it. Far side.
Oh,
number
and that's
5.
a bad set.
Out of bounds. Cyclones pull that one out of their hat. And that was all about just, I want to get a point here.
They just
that was all it
outlasted
was.
them.
Yep.
Perseverance.
Damarajan needs 4 more like that. 24-21.
Good serve.
Up in the air. Back. Number 9. Fires across. Damarajan up in the air. Witt. Back cross to Hitteman now. Tremont trying to play it. Back row. Number 20. Fires across. Just dug out. And that's the game. And I tell you what, Cyclones played well, but that's a good volleyball club right there.
That's a good Tremont team.
Yep.
Yeah, like you said, Cornerstone played very well. They did not commit that many errors, but against a good team, you can't hardly commit any errors.
Yeah, exactly. You can't give them anything. We gave them just a little bit too much, but hats off to the Turks tonight. That is a solid volleyball team.
Yeah, they've got 2 big hitters up front. Not only hitters, but they act as great blockers, too. Nothing's going to come through those 2 when they're on the front line.
You've got what I would consider to be a college volleyball player in Whitney Rumbold, number 20.
Yeah.
She can serve well. She can play the back roll. She passes well. And then when she's outside and they set her up, you're not going to stop her hits.
No, I'm sure she's got the scouts looking
Yeah,
at her. So
absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised if she could even go D1. So
Cyclones played very, very well tonight. Again, you've got those moments and those glimpses of just greatness. This team is a very good volleyball team. They will eventually get it. These small things will eventually come and will eventually click. But it takes time. It takes time to do that.
well, and a team like Tremont, this is a team that we don't normally play. This is going up a level from what Cornerstone is used to playing, and they hung right with them. They could have easily won a set out of that one.
Yep.
That's a great Tremont team, and for Cornerstone to hang with them the way they did, that's fantastic.
Hats off to all the girls tonight, and again, it's so much fun having an environment again to play in. And last year we missed this so much. Just being able to have fans in there, have people on the stage screaming and shouting, it makes it so much more enjoyable, not for the fans as well as the girls too.
Yeah, it was a fun night. Thanks to the cameramen.
Yeah, I tell you what, guys, that was fantastic. Thank you to all the high school boys back here. Garrett, thanks for putting this all together and running this show for you tonight, doing the switching and stuff. It adds to everything. We thank you guys very much. But for Jeremy Masters, I'm Dan Kinzinger. It's been a great night bringing it to you. We've had a lot of fun. We got you next Tuesday night. I think we got a game back here next Tuesday.
Yeah, but I'm not sure who we're playing.
We might have a game here next Tuesday. I think so. I don't know. We've got a game coming up again later on this season. Could be next week. We don't remember. It's been 3 nights in a row of games. We've had a lot of fun bringing them to you. For Dan Kinzinger, or for Jeremy Hancock, I'm
Wow,
done.
I've just changed my name.
I'm done. For Jeremy
time to go
Masters,
to
I
bed.
thought my name was bad. I'm Dan Kinzinger, signing out for the night. Have a good evening.
Good night.